Red hot comic book movie news. Defenders of the Earth. Defenders. The Weekly Planet. The Weekly Planet.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of The Weekly Planet, where we talk movies and comics and TV shows. My name is James, also known as Mr. Sunday, and with me, as always, is a man who always tells the truth, Nick Mason.
That is very true in itself. Ben Affleck. Last week, one of our listeners asked us to think of celebrity tattoos, like a celebrity would get on us and where we'd get on us.
Yeah.
And we couldn't think of any. And then as soon as the podcast ended, I went home and I went, Ben Affleck.
Oh, someone didn't even send you that one.
No, that's true.
Wow, incredible. That's probably why it's not very good.
Unless they did, and that was in the email. In which case, I've got a backup, which is Henry Clavicle. I'd get him. They're sort of in the same, quite close.
Yeah.
They're my boys.
They could be kissing.
They could. They're my boys.
That's nice.
The classic Batman and Superman.
Well, Mason, you do always tell the truth.
It's true.
And are you going to tell the truth this week when we talk about whether or not people should cancel their Netflix subscription?
Or resubscribe.
Perhaps.
Yeah, that's what we're going to talk about this week.
We got Extraction and Black Mirror. But there's so many newses leading up to that.
That's right.
Including...
All good news? Tell the truth, like I've taught you.
I don't have to tell the truth.
Oh, man.
That's your thing. My thing is big lies some of the time.
Oh, that's actually very cool.
Yeah. And so we're going to talk about some of the...
I cannot tell a lie. Telling lies is very cool. And I wish I could, but I can't. And that's a shame. Also, smoking is cool.
Smoking is cool. But am I lying? No.
Wow.
So... we got more delays, but maybe not for the reason you think in relation to Spider-Verse.
Oh, yeah, that's
There's
right.
a whole lot of news there. We've got SPUMM updates.
Oh, yes.
In relation to the Kraven trailer.
SPUMM dates?
SPUMM dates.
Okay.
And by the way, SPUMM is the Sony Pictures universe of Marvel movies. So whenever you see a trailer and it says in association with Marvel,
that's a SPUMM.
you're getting Sony'd.
You got SPUMMed.
Yeah, you got
Sorry.
You got SPUMM all over you.
It should say, they do the trailer for the trailer now. You should say, SPUMM starts now. And then afterwards it'd be like, you got SPUMMed.
It's SPUMMed. Yuck.
Yeah.
That's on you.
You feel bad? You should. We feel bad. But an algorithm's told us people want SPUMM. So you get
It's
SPUMMed.
funny you should say that because we're also going to talk about what Warner Brothers' new strategy moving forward. There's a few things which we'll get into.
Sell it off.
Well,
Sell it all off for
that and
kindling.
algorithms. Muerto, sad news, we'll get to it. Marvel and Hall H this year.
Oh.
An update on Fast and the Furious spin-off, the Hobbs one. We're going to talk about what Christopher Nolan says people say when they saw Oppenheimer.
Oh.
We're going to talk about Indiana Jones 5 for its big release next week, and also how The Flash is bombing so hard.
It's bombing so
It's
hard.
bombing so hard,
You know that
Mason.
thing where they say tracking and you're like, what's a tracking? It's way worse than the tracking.
It's bombing so hard. Yeah. Okay, let's start this off with delays but good, potentially.
great.
Because it's been speculated heavily that Beyond the Spider-Verse, the sequel to Across the Spider-Verse, which is supposed to be out of March of next year, is not going to happen. There's a bit of a lead up to that. There was an interview with a bunch of anonymous people who worked onto the Spider-Verse, the last Spider-Verse.
Sure.
Which is great. And a lot of people in this interview who talk about their terrible experiences on this are proud of the movie itself. Obviously, it's doing well. It is a great movie. But is it worth all of these things which are happening all the time? So basically, you know that thing that you loved, Mason?
I do.
Yeah, well, it was built off the back of underpaid workforce and overworked.
Now
Mason.
I like it slightly less, and I blame you for bringing that to my attention.
Well, this is how it is, Mason. This Vulture article.
The Vulture would. The Vulture would chime in, wouldn't he? Try and ruin things. Yeah. This etching from the Vulture.
He's a boomer. He's from a previous generation. He's probably lead poisoned. He doesn't know what's wrong.
He doesn't have microplastics in the brain like us.
That's right. Well, he probably has both.
He probably has both. Yes.
Yeah. So apparently, Phil Lord, who didn't direct this movie but had a big hand in it, a lot of the problem with this was that they'd changed shots multiple times after they'd be completed. So there was this kind of endlessly moving platform beneath everybody's feet as they were trying to, create these new and different and often conflicting, but animation styles that all often happening on screen at the same time. Yeah.
And we've had that before in the past with live action stuff. Marvel is sort of famous for that amongst the VFX community, apparently, for being like, and then the guy shoots a big laser. What's it look like? Well, it can't look like any previous lasers. Do 10 versions. We'll look at them.
Yeah.
Don't like those. Actually, we'll lock that one in. oh, actually, we've changed our mind 2 weeks before it comes out.
Let's do the first one.
Do the first laser again, yeah. But slightly different, so you have to do it again.
Yeah, it has to be different.
And it, it results in VFX artists burning out and whole VFX companies shutting down, and it seems it is the same. And I guess we sort of expected this.
Absolutely.
Well,
no, there needs to be some kind of, I don't know what the word is, some kind of coming together, almost like a union of VFX workers.
An animation club?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Like a club where they meet up and they go, maybe we should get paid properly, because the way that these works is studios
the Pay Properly Club.
The pay,
can
we have some proper money, please?
I love it.
The studio will just take the lowest bid, so everybody's undercutting each other and then shutting down. Probably the most famous example of this is the VFX company worked on The Life of Pi. They won the Oscar for Best Visual Effects and shut down at the same time. So, because that tiger wasn't real. I don't know if you know that. You probably thought it was easy because it was real, but it wasn't real.
See, I assume that everybody tells the truth at all times.
That's
and then
problem,
when that kid on the boat or whatever was like, I'm afraid of a tiger. I was like, it's probably that tiger because it's real.
You were afraid
I was afraid of the tiger.
Yeah. Do you think movies are real? Like you're just looking through a window when you're watching them? Like
I cannot tell a lie. No, I'm not stupid, James. Actually, that's a lie. I am stupid, but I'm not stupid in that way. Also, I think what is interesting as well this week is somebody, I think, on the production team of Across the Spider-Verse said on Twitter, or somebody noticed this on TikTok, I think, and then it was confirmed by this producer that there are different versions of Across the Spider-Verse being released into cinemas, and I'm wondering. I've got a few questions. One is that because initial releases of it had a weird sound mix, and they have rolled out a corrected version which gets downloaded to theaters. So is this deliberate because it's a multiverse movie and they're like, let's do a multiverse version of this. Let's surprise people.
I doubt it.
That's the
if
question.
It was, that would be a selling point of like, you don't know what you're going to get.
They probably would have advertised it at this point. I guess you're probably right. Because there's like different audio and there's
different lines.
There's different lines. There is some different animation as well. But again, I don't know if it's due to this rollout or it's, they've done this on purpose to, maybe. You can't rule it out, I guess. If any movie was going to do that, I suppose it would be Across the Spider-Verse.
Absolutely.
And the second question is, has this little tidbit been released to get ahead of this interview where people have said that we're being badly treated?
Well, maybe, because sometimes people announce stupid things to, to distract from other things.
Now, who's Amy Pascal?
She was the producer on all Spider-Man
Right, because
stuff.
she said once this news came out and this interview came out, she was like,
no, I disagree.
Yeah, she was like, well, actually, that's called making a movie. Maybe, but also...
Yeah, but even if when they made a movie.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that it has to be this way.
No, that's true. And some of these effects artists were saying like they were doing 7-day weeks, 11 hours a day.
Apparently, a lot of these people were working 70 hours plus. And over the course of this, 100 people left the project. And apparently, the majority of the crew were sitting idle for like up to half a year because Phil Lord was holding off on sequences and trying to kind of work out how everything was going to go. And then after that was all clear, it was like a dam breaking, and then they were just swamped with all the work all at once.
A real hurry up and wait situation.
Exactly. So they were getting paid at that point.
Right.
But for nothing, and then,
Sounds like...
sounds easy.
Sounds easy. That's right.
What are you complaining about? You had 6 months.
You have time to sit. You have time to do a bit of animation on the side for free.
When we figure it out, what it is.
Which we won't for ages.
So apparently one of the anonymous people who spoke in this article, which I recommend.
You recommend speaking anonymously?
Yes.
Nice.
I do it every week. My real name is Bert Pantsdown. Did you know that?
You didn't know that?
Why did I say that, Mason?
No. We can cut it out in the edit.
No.
Okay.
I'm going to try and tell the truth like you.
Okay.
Because my name is Bert
Okay,
Pantsdown.
Bert. All right.
Bert Pantsdown.
It's a wonderful first step you've taken, Bert Pantsdown. Because you burnt your pants down? Or is it just a coincidence?
Yeah.
I guess I'd have to ask your parents.
Exactly.
Greg and Sally Pants Down.
So... one of the people... Anyway, read the article because there's more in it than what I'm talking about here, if you're interested. But there's this kind of idea that, they've been working on these at the same time, and apparently that's not really true.
Yeah, like the next one, the part 2 of this is barely... They've got some concepts.
Yeah.
And maybe some script, and it's the rest of it is not done. And
this person said there's no way that movie's coming out then. And everybody had been fully focused on Across the Spider-Verse and barely crossing the finish line. And now it's like, now we have to do another one.
Wow. Now, let me ask you this. When are you going to break the news to your son?
Yeah.
Your very easily enraged son.
I woke him up. I told him.
Okay, good.
I woke
It's not coming up next
I woke him up at 1 a.m.
It's not coming out next year. It is, in fact, coming out maybe
Oh,
2025.
that. I thought you meant the news of all the...
Oh, the animation. No, I meant the idea that... because
Well, I woke him up for that first thing, the animation last night, but I'll wake him up tonight.
Yeah, you should do that. Yeah, absolutely. But it may be 2025.
Yeah.
It might be 2026.
It's fine.
Who knows?
He saw there's a new Transformers game coming out later
Okay,
this
great.
year, Bumblebee. We're getting an Optimus Prime Origin movie in mid-next year. He's got things to look forward to.
Okay, great.
He's got plenty of brands to keep him occupied.
You can always build a pool in the backyard.
Yeah, that's right. I could always just build a pool. Anyway, SPUMM news.
The little pants down. Young Lord pants down.
Do you like SPUMM?
No. Like, ultimately.
Have you ever? Have you ever liked the Sony Pictures universe of Marvel movies?
Does that include the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies?
No.
No,
they're
not.
like the mainline. Or not mainline. They're not spin-offs.
Does the Spider-Verse movies count as SPUMM?
I don't think so. I mean, technically, I guess.
I think in
this is more like your Venoms, your Morbiuses.
Yeah, I think in
Your El
retrospect,
Muertos.
and I haven't rewatched it since it came out in cinemas, but I remember enjoying Venom 1. So, you
That
know.
was fine, yeah.
Okay, so if it's SPUMM plus Tom Hardy, I'm on board.
Okay, great.
You know,
Well,
SPUMM Hardy.
SPUMM Hardy, yeah. Well,
Hardy SPUMM.
Hardy. Oh, that's good. You want that.
Yep.
So this week we got a trailer for Kraven, Friend of the Animals.
That's right.
Now,
Kraven WWF, but not the WWF you're interested in.
the other one, yeah.
That's right.
So in this version of Kraven, he accidentally gets mauled by a lion, and then the lion's blood gets into one of the bites.
I think the lion mauls him on purpose, though. I don't think that's
I don't think the lion's like, I'm terribly sorry.
That's right.
Yeah. So, which is
you're an antelope.
now I know there's been various versions of Kraven or whatever, but isn't like the main version is he's just a hunter. He doesn't have animal seeing powers.
No, but I
Though
think
there's
he has-
probably one with animal
He
seeing
definitely,
powers.
he definitely like has special herbs, and he eats the herbs, and he gets strong or whatever. And I think,
Or
this
he
is-
like hallucinates
yeah, and
violently.
I think there's if it's not Kraven's Last Hunt, it's certainly an earlier one where he eats a bunch of spiders. I think,
Yes.
because he wants to get in the mindset of Spider-Man and get Spider-Man.
But I think
powers
that's
or
just
whatever.
a madman eating spiders.
Yeah, I think it might be just a madman eating spiders. So in this one, a single drop of lion's blood gets into his blood.
And it changes. You go into his DNA and it goes.
Yeah, hell yeah. That's right. They're like, how do we do Morbius again? We simply must do
How do we
Morbius again.
capture the success of Morbius?
That's right. That's right. Because as far as we remember, we put it in cinemas, and then it went away for a bit.
Yeah.
And then people demanded.
They said, "Woo!"
Then people demanded we bring it back to cinemas, so we brought it back to cinemas, and then it went away again. Now I don't remember so many of the other
But two
circumstances.
releases.
But 2 releases got to be good, so we've got to replicate
Avatar
that
had
magic.
multiple releases.
That's exactly right. Titanic as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Titanic had another big resurgence this
So
week.
they're like, okay, in the last one he got bit by bats and he got bat powers, and this one he's going to get bit
Yeah.
by lions, and then he's going to grow a lion out
I
of his
hope,
chest.
you know
or
how they
whatever.
go into the DNA and there's like the red blood cells, that all this, they're swamped by lion vests? Or like,
Oh yeah. I'm hoping for a scene where the blood goes in and then it goes into his DNA and we go deep in and then it pulls back out and he's in a doctor's office and the doctor's like, "I'm sorry, Mr. Kraven, you have IBS now."
and you were mauled by a lion.
You are also mauled by a lion.
You have
That's
two
right.
things.
That's right, but you can't drink as much dairy anymore.
Yeah. So Russell Crowe's here. He's original Kraven.
Now
And he's-
I watched you watch this trailer again, and
Yeah.
you got stuck at a moment. You kept winding it back and going, "What? Look at this!" Because he was wearing a leather jacket. He had a scarf on. He's like, he's tied that scarf like a necktie.
It's like a necktie. He's like a businessman, but it's a scarf, Mason.
Yep.
What is that look?
I don't know, man.
I saw Russell Crowe retweeted something this week that was like, he's the father of Superman
Oh yeah,
and this guy.
Yeah.
And there's another superhero.
yeah. But,
Oh, he's in Thor.
oh, he is, of course. Yeah, he's
Hercules,
Hercules' dad.
Zeus
Yeah.
is whatever dad. Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, strong DNA or whatever.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. No, he was Zeus. He wasn't Zeus's dad.
Anyway, to answer your question, I think maybe the scarf was on the day. They're just like, we're gonna gussy this up a bit.
Yeah.
Let's put a scarf on him.
Why isn't his dad wearing like? Because he just looks like he's wearing like rich dentist hunting gear.
Yeah.
You know?
I guess,
You know, the
yeah.
guys can go and shoot a giraffe, and everyone's like, "Boo! Why'd you do that?"
I did it to prove that I'm the master of all animals, including the defenseless giraffe. That's why I shot it with a machine gun from a helicopter.
Good point. I guess to this to this movie's credit, there's a couple of things.
They made it.
They made
Probably?
it. They probably made it. It's
probably finished.
on the way to being finished.
On the way to being finished. Great.
He's in the chair in the posters.
Oh, yeah, nice.
He's doing the
Great.
big chair sit, and he's got the vest or whatever.
Great.
It's pretty bloody, I guess. Like he bites off a guy's nose.
That's
he
not bad.
bear traps a guy's head.
Okay, I like Aaron Taylor Johnson.
I like Aaron Taylor Johnson. He's getting abs for this one, which is good. And I also, I want to know if you know the answer to this. Do you know why they call that guy the Rhino?
No.
No. We'll have to wait to find out, I guess. Yeah. So, do you think it's going to be one of those things where, like, every person has a little bit of animal DNA and it's just about unlocking the potential animal within you?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you reckon his brother's going to get powers as well at the end and there's going to be, like, a Kraven off?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, 100%. Why else would he have a brother?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Anyway, his brother looks like a weirdy little nerd, but maybe he'll come back in the next one. He's like, I'm big.
Maybe he's the Rhino?
No,
the different guy. The guy with the wig is the Rhino.
Yeah, because you see the guy, the Rhino, earlier in the movie. He's there when Kraven gets mauled.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
So anyway, find out when
Kraven, my brother. I've also got IBS now, but it's even more powerful than your IBS. I can't even look at a glass of milk.
Anyway, we're going to find out why everybody or anybody is called the Rhino on October 6th of this year.
It's probably because he's got Rhino powers.
We'll see. Let's not.
All right, okay.
Look, you can say that now, but if you say it and it's not true, that means you've told a lie.
Oh, man.
So you might want to hold off.
Okay, all right.
It's up to you, though.
I'm going to have to go through some old episodes and get some editing done.
Yes. Now, Mason, the original release date of El Muerto, which is January 12th of next year.
Oh, yeah. That's soon.
Yeah, it's pretty soon, isn't it?
I reckon they could turn it around in 6 months.
Yeah, well, that's actually no more.
Oh.
So there was some leaked story beats this week, one being Tombstone was going to be the villain. That was one thing.
And then a bunch of other stuff about two people having masks, and I'm like, I think you stole that from us. I don't think anybody had any idea about what this... I don't think the script was done.
You're probably
There's
right.
been a script. I think they just went, I heard this in a podcast.
So apparently, also according to One Take News, the star of this project, Bad Bunny, has left. And so that's it. I mean,
That's SPUMM, baby.
I was going to say...
Bad Bunny, you got spummed.
I would say for now. Like, do I want to say that's it for now, or do you think that's it? Is this over?
That is it for sure, because you need a person who would fit that role who also has, like, massive success outside of the role.
Yeah.
And that is probably a fairly a slim range of potential actors there.
Do you think this had anything to do with the Flash bombing?
Yes.
Yeah?
No.
They're like, even if Batman... If a guy like Batman, a known character, bombs, what chance do we have with this? This movie that we haven't been working on.
But I mean, also they did Kraven, didn't they? They're still making.
I mean, the Kraven's mostly done.
No, Kraven is mostly finished.
Yeah.
No, I think they probably just went, there's nothing here.
Yeah.
Yeah. They probably read the 4 issues or whatever that he's in and went, okay, where's the rest?
Yeah.
Oh, there's no more. That's interesting. Okay.
Listen, we're all having fun with these SPUMM universe movies.
We absolutely are, because once again, it's not our money.
Yes. But just do the Miles movie.
Yeah.
That's what you want to do. Just do the Miles movie, okay?
Yeah.
Just do another Tobey Maguire movie or whatever.
Just put Spider-Man in a movie. Put Spider-Man in a movie.
Yeah, okay.
You know?
Do you reckon, because apparently Aaron Taylor Johnson called out Spider-Man, was like, I'm going to get you. Does he not know that Spider-Man's?
Fictional?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
Do you think he's going to eat the spiders? Because there's a bit in the trailer where all the spiders are coming down. Do you think he's going to go...
No.
Okay.
Because his nemesis is not Spider-Man. Because to the best of my knowledge, most of these people haven't met Spider-Man until the end of their movie. So
Or when they trip into his universe.
or they see him on TV, or they think about him, or whatever, or the Vulture tells you about Spider-Man.
Do you think the spider bit is going to be towards the end? And then like that's going to be the hint.
Maybe even post-credits, yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, good stuff.
Glad then. I hope that's true. That I'm glad that they've showed it already. Speaking of Marvel, though, Mason.
Go on.
It's via the wrap. Apparently, Marvel will skip Hall H this year.
Skip all that. That's when they do the big thing and they show up and Robert Downey Jr.
When
there
is
and he's
Comic-Con?
like, I don't know.
That must be soon, right? Let me check.
July?
Oh, it's finished.
Oh, we missed it.
No, it was in July 25th. 20th.
25th. Okay.
20th to the 23rd.
Okay, that's terrific.
So, yeah, there you go. So,
Terrific. I'm loving it.
I mean, I guess it's also, what are they announcing? Their Avengers movies have both been delayed a year. Kang is...
Up in the air.
It's up in the air.
Yeah, he died in the quantum realm, unfortunately.
Yeah,
so.
because you know how you thought he was alive?
Nah, he's dead, though.
He died.
He died.
And so I think they don't need to announce anything at the moment. They need to figure out what they're going to do. Yeah.
I mean, maybe what they're doing is maybe they're going to announce that everything is being made with AI now.
Oh, wow. Do you want to talk about that? Or
Yeah.
do you talk about it during Secret Invasion? What are we reading?
Secret Invasion. Let's talk about it, Secret Invasion.
All right, cool.
A little sizzle there. And guess what? We're all in favour of it.
Yep, we love
Just
it.
kidding.
No, I wasn't. So you can kid, but you can't lie.
I think so.
Okay. All right. Well, you did.
I think I have to immediately reveal that I was kidding.
Okay.
Thus undercutting the joke.
Can you close the door? Like, can you say a lie and then kid and then close the door so they can't hear you?
What I could do, I guess, I could say a bunch of lies,
Yeah.
and then just hold that in, and then later I could go
Like
out
a
into
fart.
and then I could go out into the street and scream.
Like a fart.
Yeah,
You could say you'll scream and fart in the street.
I guess so. Yeah,
Okay, great.
let's see how it goes.
Cool, man.
Yeah,
This next story is via Variety, and it's part of David Zaslav's plan to strip Warner Brothers for parts,
that's right. Here we go.
which has been working.
Very exciting.
So I don't know if you know this, but apparently this is going to go towards the 49.5 billion debt that Warner Brothers has.
Oh, they're still chipping away at that, are they?
Apparently.
Weren't they supposed to? Wasn't he supposed to save like $3 billion this year or something?
That was
like that?
Disney.
Was it?
But also it might be him
I
as
think
well.
it's also Warner Brothers.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So they're $45 billion. What did you say? $45 billion.
49.5 billion.
$49.5 billion in debt.
What are you doing? Why do you have this much
Why do you have
debt?
this debt?
They should just shut this down.
Well, I think they should. I think they should let us have it.
The debt?
No, the other stuff.
Oh, yeah.
The other stuff.
Just Batman.
No, I'll take Batman. Yeah.
I'll take El Muerto. I know it's not Warner Brothers, but if they could buy it, then I want it.
Imagine if one of us was $49.5 billion in debt. We'd get into a mess of trouble.
We'd
wouldn't we?
probably be killed. They'd bring
Yeah.
back the death penalty for us.
That's right.
And rightly so.
I think so too.
Because who let us get away with
Right.
that?
Yeah. But I mean, they can just be like, well, we got it. We'll pay it off eventually somehow. I don't know. I guess.
That's how the world runs on debt, you know? So Warner Brothers Discovery is negotiating a $500 million deal. Yeah, that'll
Oh, that'll
cover
chip it off.
Yeah.
That'll make it an even 49. I'd say spend $500 million more and make it an even 50. And then you can be the guys with $50 billion in debt, and I think people would respect you.
They would,
I don't
wouldn't
think
they?
you'd have to buy a drink for the rest of your life. You go into a bar and be like, I'm the guy that owes $50 billion. And they'd be like, beers on me, brother.
And that's a good thing because you don't have any money.
Yeah.
So, you wouldn't be allowed, you wouldn't be able to buy a drink
Couldn't
anyway.
pay anyway, yeah.
So they're going to sell off $50 million worth of their film and TV music publishing assets.
Oh, it's 50, not 500.
500, sorry.
500,
Yeah.
okay.
The catalogue is believed to what does it matter? It doesn't, does it? The catalogue is believed to include music from films such as Purple Rain, Evita, Sweeney Todd, Rent, several Batman films, and many more titles, as well as songs included in films such as Time Goes By and Casablanca.
Interesting.
Is that a Street Fighter spin-off?
Yeah.
I've got a Casablanca.
That's right.
I've turned green and I've got electric powers.
That's exactly
Have I not
right.
seen this? I saw the Legend of Chun-Li movie. I haven't seen this one.
Yeah, no, it's
I've got a
really-
Casablanca.
It's really good.
So yeah, this is madness.
Right?
I mean, also I think a lot of this stuff, it's probably not worth that much, really. Like, what are you going to do with the music from Rent and Casablanca?
Put on a Casablanca Rent musical.
Sure.
Team them up.
Rent-a-Blanca.
That's right.
Casa-Renta? I don't know. Yeah. So anyway, good luck to them. Good luck to brands.
Right, absolutely. Also, I believe they have more or less shut down, or they're in the process of shutting down TCM, Turner Classic Movies.
Oh, yeah.
Which is the specialized channel for old movies and forgotten movies, and the star of the month, and we show a marathon of all their movies, and et cetera, et cetera. Like they cut the star from 90 to 20 or something like that, including
that'll do it.
all the big executives and all the people that came up with the ideas and the programming and et cetera. So all that's going to disappear fairly shortly.
That's great.
Pretty good, right?
That should cover it then.
I think just throw all that away and that will sort it, I think. Yeah.
We'll call it Even Stevens.
Yeah. And again, a lot of that stuff is not available physically anymore.
Yeah.
Unless you have that particular archive. So
Exactly.
great stuff.
Maybe they should do a charity drive. We'll all pitch in.
I reckon we can do it. Yeah.
Hi, we're Warner Brothers. We're $49.5 billion in debt, and we need your help. We made big mistakes.
And we're going to continue to make with your help, we're going to continue to make more big mistakes. We're going to take your money and we're going to throw it away.
Yeah.
And there will be no consequences for us. And we'll still ruin everything. That's what we do.
Call in now.
We're the worst.
We've got all the Batman here. We've chained them to desks.
That's right. In other news, I don't know. This is sort of tangentially related, but did you see Paramount Plus is dumping a bunch of stuff from their streaming service?
I did just say that. Yeah.
Including the series Grease: The Rise of the Pink Ladies, the Grease prequel series,
I saw
which
that
they're
was
cancelling and removing from the streaming service.
Good.
Apparently, yeah,
Oh, that's wild.
that's right.
What is it? Star Trek Prodigy.
That's
is one of
going
them
as well. Yeah. I mean, if they cancel that, how are we going to learn where they got the flying car?
Great
and
question.
who built the flying car in Greece, you know?
This has got a 64% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's not nothing, Mason.
That's true.
That's nearly...
it's nearly good.
That's slightly higher than Indiana Jones.
What's that, a C?
Yeah.
Yeah, great. D or
No,
a
it's a
C?
D. It's a D.
Okay, great. Nice.
D's all right.
Yeah,
It's a pass.
D's make degrees or whatever
That's
they
true.
say. Yep.
I'm proof of that. So, wow. Yeah. So that's just going to be a thing that happens. And it's not like any of these things, if you were invested in them, are going to like turn up anywhere again.
Turn
they
up classic movies.
Exactly. It might show up on like other streaming services. They'll go to Netflix maybe eventually for a minute, but you know. And I know people might be like, well, who cares if any of these things, you know, disappear? I didn't like them or whatever. But I think it does speak to like a larger problem.
What about the grease heads?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What about the grease heads? Yeah. So, you know. Anyway, THR, this is great news. So remember the movie Space Jam?
Is it great news or are you doing your signature lying?
No, this is good. You remember Space Jam 2 Legacy?
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah. So the main villain in that is
The algorithm.
Yeah, his name was
Algorithm.
LG Rhythm.
Unbelievable.
And the idea behind LG Rhythm was that he wanted to create the perfect kind of
Entertainment slop.
Yes, by combining different brands together. And the joke was that we'll put LeBron James in
Yes.
Real Housewives or whatever. I can't remember. Look,
Yeah.
I saw the movie and my God, who's responsible for that?
Very cool.
Well, LG Rhythm was responsible
That's
for it,
exactly
obviously.
right. It wasn't any real people's fault.
Yeah.
It wasn't any real executives' fault.
Well, now it doesn't have to be either because Warner Brothers has signed a deal with Synalytic to use their AI-driven project management system. So Warner Brothers will leverage the system's comprehensive data and predictive analytics to guide decision-making at the greenlight stage. The integrated online platform can assess the value of a star in any territory and how much a film is expected to make in theaters and on any ancillary streams.
Love that.
So that's how we're going to get content over at Warner Brothers.
That's terrific.
You put Tim Burton plus Michael Keaton plus Ezra Miller plus time travel plus Back to the Future.
Yep.
Equals nothing. Equals no profit.
Oh, okay, great.
They should have punched it into their algae rhythm.
I think they should have said more profit.
Yeah.
They should have punched that in. Okay, that's great. What do you think is going to come from this, do you reckon?
Look,
I think they've employed this already.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, Netflix...
Because they signed, this initial deal was like 3 years ago.
Yeah, and Netflix have... I think one of the famous examples is that House of Cards came about because when Kevin Spacey wasn't a known criminal who's just running about in the world,
Yep.
that like the idea behind that premium show, what was that one he did, House of Cards, was Kevin Spacey, political thriller, whatever. Like that was like an algorithmically generated property. So I think this has been happening. And I think, look, there's always going to be bad decisions and this is just going to contribute to that. It just might be funnier. So,
Oh my God, it will be fun. Again, like if we put this through the lens of not
our money.
not our money.
Unless you want to contribute.
Yeah.
Unless you
they'll
want to be
take
part
it.
of their
They'll
charity
take it.
drive.
They'll put a donation box in front of your house.
My house?
Yeah, your house.
Oh no.
But yeah, just
Not the Burt Pants Down estate.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So if you don't put it through the lens of the general state of entertainment from this company, this once storied legendary company, is going to fall off a cliff and into a toilet. But instead, this isn't our money, and there's plenty of other entertainment choices. Let's see where this goes.
Yeah.
It is going to be very funny.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And maybe this is actually maybe this is algorithmically generated. Wouldn't surprise me.
Oh, here we go.
Because over at, I want to say Universal, this is via Production Weekly. Fast and Furious, Hobbs and Shaw, the spin-off.
Just Hobbs?
No, it's not called Just Hobbs.
Okay.
It's called Fast and Furious Presents. This is the working title, Hobbs and Reyes, which is Jason Momoa's character, unless he has another brother.
Huh.
But I'm presuming that's what they're going to do here. This is, again, as we talked about, going to bridge the gap between Fast X Part 1 and Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 2.
Great.
So that's good. So...
But they can't team up, those two.
Well, I don't know.
One's a crazy guy.
One blew up a dam.
That's right.
Yeah. But also they probably went, what's the element of that movie that people liked? Jason Momoa. People liked
The Rock's shame.
Yeah, and it's right.
The Rock's shameful walking back to a franchise with his tail between his legs.
Yep.
Plus Jason Momoa equals profit.
Exactly.
So,
Plus, didn't The Rock shoot Jason Momoa's dad in the head? Didn't he execute him on a bridge?
he really did, and he's mad about it.
He's mad about it.
Jason Momoa is mad about that.
They'll team up to either break in or out of a prison.
Yeah.
A maximum security detention facility.
Okay, so, I mean, you got two options here. If they're bridging the gap between X and X Part 2 or 11 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
then you've got two options. One is that it's Hobbs pursuing Reyes for an entire movie, and the end result is nothing.
Yeah.
Because Hobbs can't be defeated, and Reyes still has to be the bad guy in 11. So it's just them going in circles for 2 hours. Or it's they have to team up for some reason.
Yeah.
To fight a bigger bad guy.
And then they go back to the dam at the end. It's
that's right.
I gotta get back to the dam.
Oh, me too. I got to rescue my friends who are in the plane that crashed or whatever. You shot down with a rocket launcher.
Maybe we can carpool.
Yeah, let's carpool, and then I'll go to the top of the dam and I'll laugh maniacally because that's my thing.
Yep.
And I'm loving it.
So presumably this movie will start off with like Dominic Toretto's dead, I killed him, and now I'm going to get you, Hobbs, or whatever.
Yeah.
And then we'll find out at the end of the movie that Dominic Toretto survived, and then in the next movie we'll find out how in a hot air balloon or whatever.
Oh my God,
on a jet propelled hot air balloon.
Oh, beautiful.
So yeah,
what avenues have we yet to explore in the world of just transportation generally?
Mm-hmm. Very good question. Maybe H.G. Wells is the time machine.
Maybe.
Yeah. So what's fun about this is, Mason? Nothing.
No, I don't know. No, again, not our money.
It could be fun.
We got to reposition our brains into the arena of it's not our money.
Yeah. And
the algorithm is going to just ruin entertainment for years.
Absolutely.
It's going to be like 3D.
Yeah.
It's going to be like you couldn't go into when a movie came out, majority of the sessions were in 3D for like a few years, and you had to search your way to find a non-3D session.
I don't want to see Clash of the Titans at all or in 3D.
Or you had to put the glasses on and have a miserable experience that gave you a headache. It's going to be that for a few years, just AI-generated slop.
Yeah.
We've just got to push through it.
Absolutely.
Got to push through that slop.
There'll be something on the other side.
That's right. We've got to push through a few years of SPUMM and slop.
Yeah.
And then we're going to get to the gold.
It'll be like swimming through a grey goop. You know,
yeah. Well, they say the ultimate danger of nanotechnology is it produces a grey goo.
Yeah.
It just constantly replicates and it ruins the world with grey goo. Well, that's this, but for entertainment.
Exactly.
Yeah, grey goo effect.
Grey goo is entertainment in a way.
Yeah, absolutely. Like a foam party.
Like a gack.
Like a gack, exactly. Like a flubber.
Exactly. All right. This is via Wired. People have seen Oppenheimer.
Beep, boop, beep. It's coming through the modem.
Yep.
It's coming through Wired's big old modem.
Wired, Christopher Nolan said, people saw my movie. And he said, some people leave the movie absolutely devastated. They can't speak.
They're Devo.
I mean, there's an element of fear that there is in the history and there is the underpinnings. But the love of the characters, the love of the relationships is as strong as I've ever done. Apparently, quite grim. Probably because it's about a nuclear explosion.
That's probably right. Some of the worst nuclear explosions, I think.
Mm-hmm. So this is going to go up against Barbie.
That's right.
Which I think is... That week seems like people... I've noticed, and this is simply my experience and might not speak to like the wider audiences, but people...
Well, after you do that, I'm going to speak to everybody's experience.
Okay,
after
great.
That, so
okay.
Go nuts.
That people I know, normies, real people with real lives and real jobs and don't do this nonsense.
Yeah, sure.
They know that these movies are coming out and are excited to see them. As opposed to The Flash, I haven't had a single person in the real world mention that to me at all.
Same.
Yeah.
Interesting, right?
And that's anecdotal.
That is true.
But also that is reflective of how The Flash is doing really badly. Anyway, you're going to speak for everybody. Go on.
Everybody's loving it and everybody's seeing The Flash. Everybody's seen it and loved it. They've seen it on a bus. They've seen it on a billboard.
Yep.
Do you mean going into the cinema and seeing it?
Yeah.
Nobody's done that.
Okay.
Just us, I think.
Just us, yeah.
Just us in that half-filled preview.
Did you see the 4 comic book movies that Warner Brothers are releasing this year? So it was The Flash, Shazam 2, Blue Beetle and Aquaman 2.
Okay.
The amount of marketing they're spending on this is $1.1 billion.
Probably not enough.
It seems like, well, it's not working so far, is it?
I think Aquaman 2 is going to be strong.
I don't think it's going to be as strong as the first one.
No.
That one is the highest grossing DC film. It's got like $1.3 billion. But that also... Yeah. That doesn't make any sense.
No.
You can't do anything with that information.
That's true.
It's not helpful.
No. And also... We know, as big old DC heads over here, we know that Blue Beetle is the new dawn of the new DCU. It's the first one in the new DCU. But general audiences who make up that $1 billion profit, they don't know.
No.
They don't know at all.
That also might, I don't think it's going to do well. But who knows?
Yeah.
It could be a sleeper hit. But that might work to that movie's advantage that people don't know what that is.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Just like, I don't know, a superhero movie.
And it looks Iron Man-y.
Yeah. But it also could be like, there's been several movies the past few years. One of them was like, Owen Wilson is Iron Man and a dad or whatever.
Yeah, but that went straight to Paramount.
You're right. So, but there are movies where it's like, I'm not seeing generic Iron Man or generic Spider-Man. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's going to do well, but, you know, who knows? I don't know. I don't speak for everybody, and you do.
Yeah,
so.
I do. That's true.
And it will do well?
I don't think it'll do well, honestly. No.
We'll find out.
And because it also, people, even if you were like, this is a new beginning for the DCU, you'd be like, I think generally people would be like, yeah, but you still mentioned Batman and, you know, all this sort of stuff. So
absolutely,
it feels still attached, you know?
Well, let's talk about Batman because The Flash is bombing so hard.
Oh, so hard.
So for a number of reasons, and I wonder, this is anecdotal.
Yeah.
But you
can
can
do your anecdote and then I'll speak for the entire world. Go for it. Go nuts.
Do you think if they called this movie Batman Flashpoint, it would have done better? Not necessarily like a billion.
Yeah.
But do you think putting Batman in the title of this would have changed it?
I don't know, because so much of the marketing had Batman in it. All the posters have Batman in it, usually bigger than The Flash.
But if you don't know when you're going into movies and you look up at the thing and it says The Flash, you're like, I don't know. But if you saw Batman
probably,
Flashpoint,
But is that how people go to movies now? Do they go into the movie theater and go, what's good?
I don't know. It's just anecdotal. What are you?
Okay.
Yeah. But I think like the Batman, for example, it's a new Batman.
That's true.
It did very well, especially because of being a reboot.
Yeah.
It did well regardless.
But that movie was
movie's also good.
That movie was subtitled The Batman The Batman cracks his head on a bridge in a little squirrel suit. And people were like, I gotta see that. I gotta see that.
Yeah, I mean, imagine you're sitting there, you're watching the scrolling text as you're waiting to see what movie. What's this? The Batman flies down in a squirrel suit and cracks his head on a bridge. All right.
Is that a short or no? There's preamble to it, and then there's a bit after. But that's what you want. That's what you're there for.
Anyway, so apparently, so people are talking about why The Flash looks terrible as a movie, and we talked about this last week. I don't think I'm going to spoil anything, but I don't need to. But just know that if you haven't seen it, there's some things that will melt your brain.
I think at this point, if you haven't seen it, maybe spoilers are the only thing that will drive you into the cinema at this point. You might be like, oh, that's a cameo from whoever. Maybe I'll see that.
Yeah, fair point. So you want to
spoil
it.
Or I'll see it. No, or I'll see it on Twitter.
Yeah. Well, there, you can see it on Twitter.
Just to be clear, also, the fidelity of those cameos is about the same watching on your phone.
It might be better watching them on your phone.
Yeah.
Actually.
Because you won't be able to see the pixels.
Exactly. So Zach Mulligan said, if it looks like a VFX shot in The Flash was made in a week, it's probably because it was. And we suspected this, but like there's some stuff in this that's just like, how did this, when did you start this? And it's probably what happened. They probably went last minute, can we squeeze this cameo in? And not to name any cameos, but one of the bigger cameos in it is a famous actor who I'm not going to spoil.
And supposedly they were there.
Yeah.
Even though the image itself of this person in this movie is, it looks like just an old production still that they've sort of brought to life with an app.
And if they're there, maybe the person could have said something in the movie.
Think?
Like,
the character could have,
I'm doing
maybe.
This. Hello, I'm doing this action sequence. Well, it's Keanu Reeves. It's not. Also, in terms of numbers, we didn't mention this last week because we recorded a little bit early. We said it was projected for $70 million opening, which was bad. That's bad.
And prior to that, the tracking was something like $110 to $140 million.
Thinking big. But this is just in the US, but it was a $55 million opening, which is worse than Black Adam.
Ouch.
I mean, we laughed at Black Adam.
Yes.
And we were like, why would you do this or whatever? But it seems like the success of that movie, and it wasn't because it ended up about $400 million. So it maybe broke even. Was about what I think, Dwayne Johnson really did drive whatever success of that movie that there was.
That's true.
And I feel like maybe we sold that short a little bit.
Right.
And especially just seeing this, it's like, God.
And without the benefit of a very charismatic lead just pushing the movie forward, it didn't get any traction at all.
So maybe you want to lead in a movie who isn't a criminal is what you're saying.
Allegedly you want that. Allegedly you don't want that.
But anyway, in its second week, there is a 75% drop-off, and that is, I mean, again, horrendous. That is more than the 66% drop-off that Green Lantern did.
Oh, no.
And
that's the bad old days.
That was a bad time in memory.
Yeah,
Think about that movie. Think about it.
That's all we had, and people still didn't go see it.
So that also, it was expected that it was still going to be number one the second week.
Number one, baby.
But it's not.
Is it Spider-Verse?
It's either going to be Elementals or Spider-Verse. and then that will be probably third.
Yeah.
Again, early days. Who knows?
Yeah, and
also Elementals. Also, I should mention is bombing. Also,
it is also bombing.
And this is just what an incredible year.
Oh, it's such a good year for this stuff. And what it is, it's sort of a culmination of a bunch of different factors.
I agree.
And we've sort of hit saturation.
Too woke is what you're saying.
Too woke, exactly right. And so with the example with Elemental, we've talked about this before, but
also apparently it's all right.
But that's the thing.
Yeah.
We'll know in a few weeks because, and you could speak to this. I can only speak for the entire world, but you can speak to this as a family man.
Yeah.
If you like, we've reached a point where people can go, okay, we can see this Elemental movie. We can go to the cinema. We can take, a couple of kids, popcorn, drinks, parking.
I have to take some of my kids' friends as
exactly.
well. I'm going to put in an extra chair in the car.
You've got to organise all this stuff. It's going to take the entire day. You bring your bags of stuff. You got stuff for the kids, and somebody will have a tantrum on the way out or whatever.
Someone will do a big vomit.
Exactly, and all the kids.
It'll be me.
And all the kids are sick. Like at a kids' movie, everybody's sick and coughing, and you're like, well, now my kids are going to be sick or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like a $150 plus day for this thing that is going to be a disaster. No offense, you probably love your kids.
I thought you meant the movie.
Oh, yeah, also, let's make $150. But like it's for a lot of families, it's a huge investment in time and money. Or you wait 30 days and it's on Disney Plus for free.
Yeah.
Everybody knows it's going to be there. Or $20 or whatever it is, which is still way less. People are just doing that.
The only reason I am going to see this movie is because it is school holidays.
Right, yes.
Claire is away. And I need to fill days. So I will take my kids and several others to see this movie.
And that's where the money is coming from.
That's where they're going to get me.
That's how they're going to get you. But again,
bear in mind, I would not have seen this at all otherwise.
That's true, yeah.
Like even on streaming, I probably wouldn't have watched this.
Yeah.
Anyway, Kevin Smith talked about on his podcast, Fat Man Beyond, I think it was that one, is that the plan was if this did as well as The Batman, that they were building up to and we suspected this as well, a Batman Beyond movie with Michael Keaton.
Yes, right.
So now we don't have that.
Not going to get that, are we?
Because also, you probably saw this week, there was some leaked images of Michael Keaton in Batgirl that were released as well. And it looks, apparently it's not good. I can't imagine it's worse than The Flash, though. Right. Come on.
And apparently, and I've seen on Twitter recently there were apparently some test screenings of it, but just big fans or what have you, or mystery screenings where they go, it's a mystery movie, see what you think. And a lot of people were like, it's pretty good, and Brendan Fraser was great in it.
Yeah,
and they went, nah,
he
just won an Oscar. Nah, it was nah.
We know that we know what they released. This is a tax write-off.
That's true.
We know that.
Yeah.
Just the idea now that we're not going to get a proper sequel to Batman Returns kind of sucks,
Yeah.
Because you put that in the algorithm and it's going to say no.
That's
now
right.
At this point.
That's right.
But, not everything needs a sequel and that is okay. But just the fact that they wasted it on this.
Here's a movie idea for you.
Yeah.
Some people sneak into Warner Brothers to hack into the algorithm so it makes better movies.
Oh, wow.
That'd be pretty good, right?
I would love that.
Yeah.
Do you want to also do it in real life?
Yeah.
Just pour a bucket of water on it.
That's right.
Probably do it.
That's right. More Aquaman movies. Interesting. And SPUMM's doing a Hydro Man movie.
Now, before we talk Netflix stuff, Mason, you're going to hate this.
I bet I will.
Indiana Jones 5 is now has a fresh score on Rotten Tomatoes at a 62% at time of recording.
Guess what? I like that. Because we've seen it.
We have seen it. We're not going to get into the specifics. We'll talk about it next week. Also, next week's episode will be about a day, maybe a bit less late.
Okay.
Because I will be not available to record in our normal times.
Interesting.
So it'll be a little bit late. Most people won't be affected because they watch it, they'll listen to it in their own time or whatever. But
it's true.
That immediate release will not be. Probably.
You early birds, consider listening to it in your own time, but later.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I will say this about Indiana Jones.
Yes.
I think a lot of people, whatever you kind of bring to this is what you're going to get out of it. For me, for example.
I brought a whip.
It was my most anticipated movie of the year, and I thought it was going to be the best movie of the year. And to me, it was. And
do you really think that?
I'll talk about it next week.
Okay, all right.
But just get ready for some incredible thumbnails. They're already gearing up.
Oh, yeah.
My goodness.
Oh, my, you're absolutely right.
That whole discourse is going to start again. I think it's going to be a little bit smaller because Indiana Jones isn't a property like Star Wars.
That's true. It's gone sort of the Terminator route.
It's going to be Kathleen Kennedy with red glowing eyes and Harrison Ford going, "Bleh," and Phoebe Waller-Bridges being like, "I'm being feminism on you."
That's right, exactly. That's right. I'm the first strong female lead in an Indiana Jones movie. I'm the first female character that has opinions and does stuff. You better believe it.
Yeah.
Look out.
But also, I'd say this. I don't know if it's necessarily going to bomb as hard as The Flash, but I don't necessarily know that this is going to. I'm very curious to see how this is going to be because it's just old guys, not just exclusively, but this isn't a young person's property.
That's true.
Yeah, I would say in general.
Yeah.
Oh, shout out to the few of the people that we met at the screening as well, which is really nice.
Who did we meet? I think we met.
I met Toby, who was really nice.
We met Frank.
Yep, we met Frank.
Delightful.
Yeah. There was a person sitting in front of us whose name we didn't get, but to that person sitting in front of us, hello.
Lovely time.
Yeah. I hope also Toby was doing work experience there. And he was like, I don't know whether I'm going to be able to see this movie because it depends if there was a spare seat. And there were lots of spare seats, so I hope you got one. Yeah.
We also ran into Gabby from Auntie Donna's Coffee Cafe.
Oh, we did too, yeah.
We don't know her though.
No. I said, hello, I like the show, and then I kept moving.
Nice.
She didn't even see me. I was gone.
That's right. She was like, what show? Who are you? I'm the ghost that haunts the IMAX.
All right. Big week for big Netflix week.
Big week for Netflix.
Yep. There's one. Netflix. There's a tattoo you can get.
Oh, you get Netflix.
Netflix.
And the guy from Extraction. He would enjoy Netflix because he got shot in the neck that time.
He's got that bullet hole in his neck.
That's right, Jake Extraction. He's back in action.
Do you want to talk about... That's exactly what I wrote.
Yeah.
No, actually, I wrote Jake Extraction is back.
Shin?
No. Anyway, do you want to talk? We're going to talk about a little bit of Black Mirror and a little bit of Jake Extraction.
That's right. Which is Extraction 2, for people who are wondering.
But
no subtitle? No.
No. But the eyes, there's two eyes.
Extraction. Okay, great.
God, Jake Extraction. It's time for Extraction.
So it's Extraction 2.
Yes.
Great.
Now, the first Jake Extraction, the budget was $65 million. Okay. I would say this would be bigger than that. It seems that there's a lot of stuff going on here, which is either a complicated kind of visual, not effect, but, a complicated...
Metaphor.
No, it's real in terms of, it's happening. Like, they use a lot of real stuff in this.
That's true.
In-camera effects.
They break a lot of windows.
And glass and saws and bullets going in and out of people, etc. But we don't. Obviously, there is no box office return of this. But it seems to be doing well enough that they've already announced Jake Extraction 3.
Have they? I didn't know that.
So that's happening.
Wow.
All people who are alive in these movies, or maybe not, will be returning.
That's right.
Even if you think you're dead, guess what? You might be back for another Jake Extraction.
That's right. Did we see you get cremated? Well, you could be back.
That's right.
Anyway, they're all back. Jake Extraction is back.
Yep.
That lady is back.
I forgot everybody else in this movie except Jake Extraction.
Maybe her brother.
Yep.
That guy who is maybe her brother, he's back.
Yep. Is this as you telling us what the story was?
Yeah, this is what it is. And but this time, he's got to do another extraction. But this time he's got to get a lady out of prison.
Yep.
Is her husband out for revenge from the first movie? I don't know. I don't remember.
I don't think that's related.
No, I think it's unrelated.
This is a separate
extraction, but it's he's still like Eastern European, and he's a big tough guy with the neck tattoos.
That's
so
right.
Watch out.
I enjoyed Jake Extraction too.
Me too.
I enjoyed it quite a bit. I only watched it yesterday. I finally got around to it because I was like, I'm going to watch it closer to when we record, so then I'll remember more of it.
I love that.
But I left it too close, Mason.
No, so it didn't even sink in.
I was stressed.
So you're like, there was light and colour, but that's all I remember. It hasn't penetrated my brain yet. It's just still rattling around in my eyeballs.
That's right. What I like about Jake Extraction is the character is that I like how he just is unashamedly, admittedly Australian.
Oh, yeah,
he's watching the footy. He's watching the Dancing with the Stars, which Chris Hemsworth once did.
Oh, yeah.
One point he says to a bloke, "Get a dog up here," didn't he?
Yeah, that's exactly
it's
right.
It's after the credits.
Yeah.
He's got one of those Australian dogs, which is just like, what kind of dog in this? I don't know. It's a dog.
Yeah.
He's got one of those dogs.
That's perfect. That's right.
Which is the best kind of dog.
I think he should have had like a ratty mullet and a mustache.
Yeah, great.
Because that would make him very Australian currently.
Yeah.
That's the most current Australian haircut, facial hair combo.
That's what you can do. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, all in all, it's there's some stuff in this that I like. The big action set piece, the one that they're kind of selling this on,
the prison
the
break,
21-minute oneer, and this isn't really a spoiler, but that happens relatively early on in the movie.
It is the extraction.
Yeah.
It's the initial
and
extraction.
then there's other things that happened afterwards. But I was like, oh, they've done the big thing already. I wonder what else this has to offer post this. And there is still plenty happening on the back end of the 21-minute oneer. So how do you feel about the return of Jake Extraction being that he was shot in the neck and he fell off a bridge and he died?
Oh, yeah?
And then he went into a coma.
Yeah.
But then he came back.
Well, then a very special celebrity cameo is like, you should come back and do another extraction.
And he said, well, you should come back and do another Thor movie.
That's right.
Like, oh, no.
I think I died. I hope I died. I hope I died in the Thor movies. I don't want to come back. Give me a bigger role. I don't know. And then he's like, well, I'm not in shape to do another extraction, so what I should do is I should have a very short Rocky montage.
Rocky IV montage.
Where I push some logs up a hill or whatever.
I break some rocks.
That's right.
I build in a wall.
Take my casts off.
Yep, I do ropes.
And then I'm ready.
I do ropes.
I check the center app.
Yep.
And I'm good. I'm good to go.
Says,
now.
yep, get those knees up.
That's right.
And I got those
knees up, and now I'm ready to kill everybody
Do
on
I
Earth.
need this knee brace anymore?
No. No, you're good, mate.
Now, I love in movies, just in general, I love prison break movies.
Sure.
And what I thought was going to happen here, I thought the movie was going to be Jake Straction, whose real name is Tyler Rake legally.
Interesting. Do you think he's related to Rake from the TV series
Yes,
Rake?
even though TV show Rake, his name's not really Rake. But yes, they are related.
Interesting.
I thought he was going to be put into the prison and then he'd become part of the prison community and then he'd do his Jake Straction.
Join some clubs, for example, in the prison.
Exactly. Yeah. Maybe he joins the library club.
Yeah.
Maybe he gets his degree in mathematics.
He joins the escapology club. He joins the build a battering ram club.
But what he actually does is just run in.
He sure does. The team comes in. What's Eastern Europe, I guess?
Yeah.
The team goes in, all guns blazing.
Yep, boy, do
They're
they.
like, we'll have just load yourself up with guns and grenades.
Yeah.
We'll there's a big tunnel underneath the prison. We'll just go in.
Yep.
And we'll shoot everybody.
And it's from the moment he enters the prison, it's a oneer technically, where it's not actually a oneer, but
we follow the
series
action.
of-
There's no cuts.
No.
Ish.
There are some pretty obvious cuts within it. Yeah. There's some one's smoother than others, obviously, but all in all it works. It's not like
There's no point where, Jake Straction is like, what's happening over there? And the camera swings over. It's man doing a dance.
Or it's just him again. Just cuts to him again doing a different thing. Yeah. But I thought, no, it worked really well for me. And like the coordination of that is incredible. And the action sequences and the fight choreography. Apparently Chris Hemsworth learned like 2,500 different choreography moves or whatever, which doesn't surprise. I mean, he did Dancing with the Stars, so he would know. Yeah. He would know how to do choreography. And there's moments.
And he's seen those bloody legends of the game. Getting a big specky.
They'll do a big specky.
That's a beautiful move, isn't it?
It is. You got to get up there.
That's right.
You got to do a big
specky.
Gazali. You got to get up there, Gazali. But yeah, there's a moment also where he's out in like the prison yard while a riot is going on, and it's literally like 400 people.
Yeah. And he shoots 300 of them.
Just falling over each other and hitting each other with bricks and whatever.
Yeah,
And he's among it with his family.
It's probably some of those dudes like, why didn't we do this before? This is easy and fun. We just push these guards over. We'll leave.
There's probably one of the most famous bits that they've talked about is that at one point his arm is lit on fire and then the action continued. And that is real. Like he did. I think there is some like visual effects enhancement like going on there. But,
sure.
But yeah, they actually do light Chris Hemsworth's arm on fire in that bit. And then from there it goes to a car chase and then on top of a train. What I didn't realize about that top of the train sequence, and this is stuff in the trailer, is that the helicopter moments are real. They're really landing helicopters on the roof of the train and bad guys are pouring. Like they're on it's crazy. Like the stuff that they're actually, doing in these movies. Because if this was like, I don't know, a Fast and Furious movie, I guess it wouldn't.
Or The Grey Man.
Or The Grey Man, yeah.
Which is also a Russo
It's also a
production.
Russo joint. Yeah. So, this is Sam Hargrave, who was, I don't know if he still is, but he's a stunt man. And I think he doubled Captain America for some of it at least. And now he makes movies in addition to Mason. And he has a big beard.
That's great.
And he goes, like that. But just the idea of like Chris Hemsworth's on top of a helicopter and he's got the minigun. We'll talk about minigun minutes.
Yeah.
And that helicopter is like really there. Like the blades are just like.
And Chris Hemsworth really shot it down.
Yeah,
they had the budget for it.
Yep, that's
They had
right.
the budget to kill all those men.
How did you feel about that minigun minute, Mason?
Pretty solid.
Well, there's 2 minigun minutes because there's the bit where he holds it for but he only holds it for 10 seconds.
Yeah, well, that's enough to shoot down a helicopter.
So you're okay with that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
He shoots down a helicopter. He kills
does.
a bunch. You see the men die in it.
Yeah.
That's good. It's a proper minigun. I don't know why it's on the roof of a train.
Who cares?
Yeah.
It's not important.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. And what about the minigun with because they also have a minigun at one point.
That's true.
Where they're shooting through a building. Remember, and he's hiding behind
Not as good.
kitchen cabinets.
Shades of the original Matrix.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I loved original Matrix.
But I mean, that one's 0 out of 10 because it's like they're hiding behind a kitchen
An
island
IKEA,
or whatever.
an IKEA.
That's right. They're hiding behind a Bjorn or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just all the armor-piercing bullets are just bouncing off it.
Absolutely.
So 0 out of 10. So final score, 0 out of 10.
Fair enough.
For that movie.
Because if you times 0 by any number,
It's 0.
it's
that's
0.
right. Yeah.
And that's how it works. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you think there was much stuff, though, after the Wanna that kind of kept your interest? Or do you think that was the
I mean, I did find myself invested in these characters that I forgot were in the first movie.
Yeah,
I'm like,
totally.
I like this lady and maybe her brother.
Yeah.
I think they're pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like him.
Because he kind of seems like, and maybe it was in the first one, I don't remember, like a fancy kind of like rich kind of kid. But he's,
Yeah, right.
you know, he's also does big
He's good at
extractions.
murders.
Yeah.
He's good at extractions and murders
And
as well.
fashion.
And fashion. I think
Yeah.
that's cool.
I like that. Yeah, I think also
Finally, a character I can relate to.
it's interesting because the way that they do action in this, there's that Wanna and then the back end, and then there's kind of two major action extended sequences, but the one on the back end of the movie, that's just shot like traditional action, I guess you call it.
Yeah.
But I think that works to this film's advantage that there's like doing things two different ways, and there's sections within that second sequence which I really like. There's a moment where he's in the gym and he's just beating people with weights and cables and pulleys and all of that. I think it's pretty creative. There's a moment where he punches a guy onto a treadmill and he
checks the center app and he's like,
gotta keep my knees up
brain this guy with a weight.
and keep my knees up.
That's right. How many calories have I burned?
So yeah, I don't know. I think it's interesting that it's that you do your style of Wanna and then it's kind of the best or biggest version of that you could do. And then I think also of like traditional action, it does like a really good example of that also.
I would love to know if the muzzle flashes and etc. Are these real guns or are they?
Don't know.
Is he miming it?
I'd say probably.
Maybe a mix?
I mean, they got kicked to them. Like often the guns they use now, they might be airsoft where they'll kick a little bit.
Yeah, right.
And there might be a little flash in the end or whatever. But yeah, like the John Wick situation.
The John Wick situation.
Yeah, the Wick situation.
The Wick situation.
There's quite a tense moment on a glass kind of what is it? A roof?
Yes, a balustrade.
A balustrade.
I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, sure, and that's fun. You know, that's a good moment.
Yeah, it's a memorable moment as opposed to again like the Grey Man, which had no, like its namesake, not
seen
memorable.
that?
No, you haven't. I've seen it.
Okay.
The only
I
memorable.
knew one of us had seen it.
Yeah, the only memorable moment in that movie is there's an action sequence on a tram, and that's the only reason I remember it.
Because you're in it.
Yeah, because I'm in it.
Keep it down. Make sure to
But at the
tap
same
on.
time, I'm like, the tram wouldn't keep going if there was nobody driving in it because there's a safety switch.
What if you put a brick under the safety switch?
He doesn't put a brick on the safety switch. He doesn't have a brick on him.
All right.
If Ryan Gosling was like, good thing I bought this brick,
Yeah.
I can put it on the safety switch
Wait a
of
minute.
the tram.
Was this before or after he got his Grey Man powers? Because isn't that
This is after he got his Grey Man
There you
powers
go.
and he can conjure up as many bricks as he wants.
grey bricks?
Nothing about that. Like, he doesn't even have a signature look.
The Grey Man?
The Grey Man. Like, you know, I'm talking like Gosling, you know, in Drive, he's got the scorpion jacket or whatever. And
Do you think they should have just given him the scorpion?
give him the scorpion jacket, but it's a grey scorpion.
Yeah.
But like,
Is it just like a tactical kind of?
no, he's wearing a dirty tracksuit
The whole time?
Well, at the start of the movie, he's got like a red suit on because he's going to a nightclub because he's got to kill a guy in a nightclub.
Does he?
And then yes, and then he kills Drazik.
Not Drazik.
He kills Drazik.
I'm not that guy.
That's right. But then he's on the run later and he just puts on a dirty tracksuit. And he was wearing a dirty tracksuit for the entire movie.
Grey Man. Maybe that's why were they grey track pants?
Yes.
There you go.
Okay, that's
That's his signature look.
That's great. That's
grey
terrific.
sweatpants.
They should call him the Great Man.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I don't really have much to say about this. I like that they brought in his wife Olga Kurylenko. Because the story of Jake's Extraction is that in the first movie is that his son had cancer and he wasn't there when his son passed away. He couldn't handle it.
That's right.
And so he left to do a Jake Extraction.
That's right.
And it's something that he lives with deep regret. And I think it did a good job of putting in enough character moments where you're like, you understand the character of Jake Extraction and you do feel for him. And
right.
Chris Hemsworth, he's good at, he can do some emotional acting.
He can do some emotional acting, and there's a moment where he's talking to the son of the woman he extractioned.
Yeah.
And he's like, come on, mate. Go on, mate. Yeah. Go on, mate. Tried my best, mate.
Get a dog up your mate.
Dog up your mate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how he talks.
Yeah, that's right.
And how he is. Yeah.
I saw it. I know you want the relationship with your dad to work, but she's cactus, mate. She's just cactus, all right?
It's rooted.
Yeah. Yeah. Australia.
So, yeah. And good fist fights.
Yeah.
You know, It does all the action stuff well. There's a moment where he like splits a guy's hand like down the middle.
That's right.
He gets hit with a saw at one point, but just kind of like you see it like press into his arm.
Yeah.
And there's just he's using all sorts of
Very solid. Like I think this is worth the price of admission for Netflix this month.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
They should do a day pass for Netflix. $2 and you get Netflix for 24 hours.
Yep.
And you cram in as much as you can in that 24 hours. You don't sleep. You just watch Netflix.
You watch Extraction and then Extraction 2. So yeah, I guess look forward to J Extraction in 3 years, I'm assuming.
Tray Extraction.
Three Extractions. Yeah, so yeah, good. I don't have much else to say about that, but it's good.
It is good. Best Netflix streaming movie ever.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of them. There's this and there's the other Extraction movie. And there's probably, what are the other action movies on Netflix which are good?
I'm going to open up Netflix.
Fubar is getting a second season.
Second season of Fubar, that show that I thought was a movie. That's great, man.
Isn't it just... Oh, God. Was Triple Frontier from that?
Yeah.
Red Notice?
Yeah, that's good.
Is it?
So, we've talked about the strike for a bunch of... What's interesting about the Writers Guild strike is that one of the things that the studios don't seem to want, and the streamers don't seem to want to divulge, like they're not budging on it, is how much people are actually... Like the actual numbers. Who's actually watching this stuff?
Yeah.
Because Red Notice is apparently it's at 230 million hours or
I'd
something
believe
like
it. I'd believe it.
And people are like, why aren't they releasing the numbers? Is it because they're low or is it because they're high? And the answer is it's both, I would imagine. Because I bet there's some stuff where people went, like where they went, okay, everybody watched this and everybody talked about it. It's got 1 billion streaming minutes or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And they cancelled it because the algorithm said no. And there'd be stuff like Red Notice, which nobody watched. But if they admit to their investors that they paid Ryan Reynolds, The Rock, and Gal Gadot like $50 million to be in this movie, and nobody watched it, they're in trouble.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they have to keep that number high and the other number low.
Yeah.
And when it's revealed that it's actually reversed, they're in a lot of trouble, kind of thing. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
I'm excited for when somebody leaks that.
Absolutely. Here's some Netflix action stuff.
Did you just go to Netflix and write an action movie?
Exclusive. So there's The Old Guard.
Oh yeah, that was good. I like that.
Yeah, I didn't mind that. The Harder They Fall. I like The Harder They Fall, actually.
Oh, that was good too. The Western, yeah.
Triple Frontier, I didn't mind. I thought it was okay.
Terrific.
What about this one, Mason? Army of the Dead.
I didn't like that. I thought it was bad. I thought the first 5
Here's
minutes was
one
fun.
you liked, though. Here's one you liked. Bright.
No, that was bad. What about The Adam Project? Another Ryan Reynolds banger.
Yeah. Another one where he got $50 million.
Yeah.
Outlaw King was all right.
How about this? Spencer Confidential with
Great
Mark
movie.
Wahlberg.
What about Defied Five Bloods? That was all right, actually. That wasn't really an action movie, but yeah. What about Six Underground?
Oh, that's another Ryan Reynolds joint.
And a good movie. Didn't you like that one?
Maybe actually.
What about the
I was on the cusp for that one, I think.
What about the movie? No, you hated it.
Did I?
There's a Michael Bay one.
Yeah, I remember.
What about the movie Ghosted?
No, that's Apple.
That's Apple, Mason.
Yeah, I know. That's why I haven't seen it. And also, I heard it was bad. I heard it was very bad and
Well, you
forgettable.
should just don't judge movies on what I and other people say.
Okay.
Spend money and see them yourself.
Great.
Yeah.
Give us the day pass, Netflix. Stop with this. Oh, we're gonna know when your family uses your Netflix account. Oh, we're gonna ban you or whatever. Give us a $2 day pass.
Yep. Oh, Day Shift was all right, the Jamie Foxx one. So yeah, there you go. Some of them are okay.
Dragonheart Battle for the Heartfire.
Dragonheart.
2017.
Yeah, you saw that one?
No.
It's probably the best Dragonheart movie.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's easy for me to say. Well, should we move it along?
Yes.
All right, we're going to talk about another Netflix thing.
Yes.
It's called Black Mirror Season 6.
That's right.
Are we going to spoil these?
How can we do this? All right, let's talk overall about the season, whether we liked the season, and then we'll break down the episodes individually, and then we'll be like, was this better than season 5? So I'm going to look up season 5 so I remember what happened in season 5.
Well, I think overall this was a pretty strong series of Black Mirror, Mason.
So this was only 5 episodes.
It was.
Which is less than a previous season, but it's more than the first season, which was 3.
Yes.
So
I also think it leaned into often like away from technology. Some explicitly. Like Black Mirror now seems to be anything.
Well, see, here's the thing.
Which is I don't mind.
No, I don't mind either. And I think perhaps the middle seasons, we all got the idea that Black Mirror was exclusively about technology and the overuse of technology and
your wife's turned into a phone.
Exactly. What if phones were too much?
Yeah,
But
if?
I think the original intent of Black Mirror was probably like, I don't know if Charlie Brooker has said this exclusively, creative Black Mirror, was just like a Twilight Zone. Like, what if a weird thing happened?
Yeah.
Like the first episode of Black Mirror is not strictly speaking about the Prime Minister one.
It's about society.
It's about society. Like there is
and rooting a pig.
That's also that. But there is technology in it.
Yeah.
Like the government tries to, find a loophole in this.
And it's about social media, etc.
It's about social media and etc. But it's not like what if phones were too much? I guess it kind of is. But I mean, I think it's like the Twilight Zone in that what the episodes should be about is like how does this reflect on us as a society, even if it is not strictly about phones.
Yeah.
So. And this I think is kind of that. And also most of them have either been contemporary or in the future.
Yeah.
And this season has a couple of...
There's some like alternate reality ones going on.
Yes.
Yeah, yes.
Yes. Slay Charlie Brooker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, just thinking about season 5, and I think there was the Miley Cyrus one, there was the Striking Vipers one. I think this is a stronger season than season 5, just from memory. Am I wrong in that?
Okay. By comparison.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I'm just going to say I liked the new takes on stuff. Some of it was it suffers from the same thing that previous seasons of Black Mirror have suffered from, I think. But I guess it's more on me than it is on the show, which is once they have established the premise, your brain goes, what's the twist here?
Yeah, okay,
and then you can, like most of these, I think you can probably predict what is going to happen. As soon as the setup happens,
based on who's in it.
Based on who's in it and the setup, and you go, oh, I wouldn't have done that because this is going to happen. And then it absolutely does happen.
Yeah. But to me, like these episodes, it's not really so much dependent on the twist.
Oh, season 5, only 3 episodes.
Yeah, only 3, yeah. Smithereens, Rachel, Jack and Ashley 2, and Striking Vipers.
Yeah.
But I think it's more in like the execution and the performances and the right.
Yeah.
Like even if like a couple of these, I'm like, well, I think this is going to happen, and it did, except for episode 5.
Yes,
Maisie Day, which I did not predict.
Okay, yeah, great.
Yeah.
Look, I'm gonna say absolutely worth the watch.
Really
yeah. And again, I don't.
I think it was only 3 the last one because they did Bandersnatch. And then there was 3.
I really like Bandersnatch.
I thought
I seemingly am in the minority. But,
I like it, the idea of it, but I didn't. Oh yeah, so there was like 6 months between Bandersnatch and then season 5, and then pandemic, etc., and everybody got depressed, and then it didn't happen.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right, let's break it down. Big time spoilers. Season 6 rather.
Yeah, season 1. He roots the pig.
Oh, okay, we're doing that. Yep. Okay.
Episode 2.
Yeah.
He does a reality show.
Oh, we're doing all of them.
No, not
okay. I was going to say.
Okay, season 6.
Okay, first one. Joan is awful.
It's about AI generated content.
Yes. This is a big leap. I mean, the thing about this is that it's a little dig at Netflix.
Yeah.
But how deep can the dig go if Netflix is approving it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the same thing when Warner Brothers went, well, the algorithm's pretty bad, isn't it? Well, and a lot of people are, they're very rude. A lot of people are very rude, but a lot of people said of the Matrix Resurrections, oh my God, they took a shot at Warner Brothers because they said the thing about the sequel. It's like, well, they paid for this and they made it, so they're not going to really, to the extent they care about it, they're not going to.
They got him though.
They got him. They absolutely got him. But this one, it's so a woman who's the lady from Schitt's Creek, discovers that Streamberry, which is their universe's version of Netflix, is making
it also has the same noise.
It's true. He's making a drama called Joan is Awful, seemingly about her, but it's a slightly worse version of her.
Yeah, not by much, but yes,
that's right. And it seems to be being made very, very rapidly.
Yeah,
and so she so
like, how is this even
exactly?
possible? Is it predicting the future?
Exactly, and it ruins her relationship and it ruins her work life.
Yeah,
and then she goes to Streamberry and she discovers that she goes to her lawyers and she finds that, in fact, she agreed by signing up to Streamberry that they're allowed to use her likeness and her life to make an algorithmically generated show.
And they're using your phones and whatever to generate data on you to build the show. And the people in the show aren't actually in the show because the show that she's watching, she's played by Salma Hayek, but it's not actually Salma Hayek. It's Salma Hayek has given away her likeness.
She sold it to them, yeah.
And then Salma Hayek comes into the show as herself, you think, and then is like trying to also combat this situation.
Now, this episode I thought was interesting because...
Just throw your phone away.
Well, see, my initial... as soon as the episode wrapped up, my first thought was I think the best dig at this show would have been... The best dig at Netflix would have been... that this ruins her life, and then even though everybody in the world watched it, a month later they cancel it and delete it.
Yeah.
Like that would have been, I think that would have been, but I don't think Netflix would never have, because that hits too hard.
Yeah.
That hits too close to home, I think.
Absolutely.
But this one I'm like, okay, this is pretty entertaining, but I think the twist I enjoyed a lot, which is when we get to her and the real Salma Hayek decide to go to Streamberry and destroy the computer that is creating these algorithmic
algorithms.
Shows. That's right.
Also, the idea is to build like a show for everybody.
Yeah, right.
Everybody has a show that's specifically about them, that's algorithm generated, which is like fed back to them.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so she goes to destroy the computer that is creating this, only to discover that she is actually not the original Joan.
Yeah.
She is her entire reality is inside a computer.
She realizes that when she runs into Michael Cera.
Yeah, who is like, no, Michael Cera sold his likeness rights to become the nerd in the computer lab or whatever it is. That was a bit of fun. I liked seeing him. That was great.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I liked it overall. I think it was like it's just a bit of a fun one. I don't think it's like, and it's a comment on.
Yeah.
Oh, we got to talk about whether society is a phone. Obviously, we got to.
Society is a phone in this one.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, society is definitely a phone in this one.
Yeah,
but that being said, there's no way that legally this would be allowed.
No.
Yeah, because
you could just. People sign waivers on things. Not like you sign the thing that says
it's the reasonable person test, James. Exactly. A reasonable person would not expect signing up to a streaming service would allow them to make a show about you.
But I'm an unreasonable person. How does that help me?
Very unreasonable.
How does that help me?
You're stuffed. You're stuffed, mate. You're cactus, mate.
I'm cactus.
Episode 2, a little bit less fun.
Yeah.
Because it's seemingly based on a lot of real-life awful serial killers, including a British couple whose names I cannot recall right now, who are the worst people in the world.
Yep.
But this is
Loch Henry.
Loch Henry, so a couple...
This is probably the most traditional, like, British... Black Mirror
this is so British. Yeah,
it's Scottish, but yes,
yeah, and it's not super technology based, although technology plays a part. So it's a couple. They're film students, and they are going to they're traveling across Scotland to film an interview with a man who protects eggs. Yeah. They're making a documentary, but in the meantime, they decide to go to the man's hometown. They make a little trip, and at which point the girlfriend learns that this sleepy little town has been largely abandoned because there was a horrible serial killer back in the day, and so nobody wants to visit. Back in the good old days. And so they're like, well, why don't we make a documentary about the serial killer? And
his family was involved, like his dad was indirectly killed by the serial killer, and whatever. It's this black cloud that's kind of hung over the town for decades.
Almost like a Black Mirror.
It is a bit, isn't it? I also think like. This season, I watched a Charlie Brooker interview, about this season, but also there's a bit where he talks about this episode specifically because he was on site. I don't know if he directed this one. I can't remember. But he was on site for it. And basically the idea is that this is their commentary on the streaming services, like the way that they put together these true crime stuff. And all the time they won't have footage of a particular thing, so they'll be saying horrible things while there's a drone shot of a beautiful forest or whatever.
Right.
So he's saying that like this idea of true crime in the past, it used to be like Britain's worst murderers and whatever, and it's just like, and you see a newspaper covered in blood and whatever, and he's like, that hasn't gone away. They've just the art form of like I guess like independent like filmmaking and all of that, and all these different directorial techniques have now just made their way into just this stuff. So it's just grisly murders just shot beautifully.
Yeah, and there's a moment in this where, and it's sort of the linchpin for the discovery of the twist where...
that's coming, right?
No, exactly, yeah, where Pia, who's the girlfriend, is like, we should use this old handy cam with the VHS tapes because it'll give us a kind of grainy look and it'll make it appear as if it's, retro archive footage kind of thing. At which point she discovers, while digitizing that actually the boyfriend's mum and dad were also involved in the murders.
They're doing big murders and weird sex stuff and whatever.
Yeah.
This one definitely felt like early Black Mirror though. You know? Just an awful British thing happening.
Yeah. And the end, the man gets, his girlfriend dies.
Yeah.
And he thinks she's been murdered by his mum, but in fact she just went off into the moors and she fell over.
Even think like his mum, who was awful, would have killed her.
Right.
Like I don't even think that was what she was.
Right.
Like that's not what she was about.
Yeah, but then of course he gained success in the but it's ruined his life, of course.
And success,
that's so British.
And the town comes back and whatever to life because it's now it's this site of this historical.
Good outcome for the mate.
Great. It's Podrick from Game of Thrones. But yeah, I think it also speaks to what you were talking about, how they're already moving on to the next thing. Like he was there when they got the award, and he's on board as a producer. But the streaming service, which is basically Netflix, they drag him through this whole thing and interview him, so he becomes the subject of the documentary. And then it's going to become a series on Netflix, like they're going to reenact it with actors and whatever. And so they've kind of moved on from him. Like the story itself is now, it's not his, it's the services.
It's the service
to tell and do whatever they want.
And if you go back and you look at Joan is Afraid, when Joan is Awful, when she goes through the stuff to look at, they're going to watch that. It's in there. The documentary's in there.
Oh, with his face on it, like
yeah, I think so. Fred and Rose West, they're the British serial killers. Don't look them up.
I wasn't going to.
Well, you shouldn't. It's not cool. It's not cool what they did.
I like Society's a phone.
Society's a little bit of a phone, I think. Yeah,
Society's a streaming service.
It's bigger than a phone.
Yeah,
it's the streaming service. You're absolutely right. Episode 3, Beyond the Sea. This one took me the longest, I think, to figure out what the premise was.
Yeah,
and this one also felt very much like an Outer Limits episode or a Twilight Zone episode. Yep. So in this episode, there's two men. They live with their families in separate places in sort of rural locations, and people are like, wow, what are you doing here? How are you doing this? And we're like, are they ghosts? Maybe they're ghosts.
Did you think they were ghosts?
No.
I thought they were ghosts,
okay.
Mason.
Anyway, so, and they're living their lives, but occasionally they get a little notification on their special watches.
Get back to your spaceship.
That's right.
Get back in your spaceship.
They go into
get out of your robot body and get on your spaceship.
They get in a room, and then they wake up on a spaceship, and they do various activities on a spaceship.
Yeah.
And I spent most of this going like, which part of this is a computer simulation?
Oh, okay.
Is it the 60s?
Yeah.
Or is it the spaceship? Which is the computer simulation? But it turns out neither is the situation, is the simulation. It's an alternate 1960s.
Yep.
Where instead of landing on the moon, I guess they're just exploring space in some way.
They'd already done that. And they're using human, what are they called?
Replica android bodies.
So you can basically stay on Earth in your android body and transmit your mind and just have your family and whatever and do all of that and live a normal life, but then you're also in space. I guess my question is, why not just have the androids in space and stay on Earth?
Because then the episode wouldn't happen. But also, I guess you could go, well, they require more energy. Like the robot bodies maybe require more energy than can be gained on the spaceship. Yep. So, that was also
put a charger
that was
in.
my and everyone's
Put a charger
first.
in.
Put a charger in, yeah. Put some solar panels in.
Put a bigger battery.
They didn't have battery. They didn't have proper batteries back then. They only had perfect replicas of human bodies. But then, of course, Josh Hartnett's family is killed and his robot body is destroyed. So he's stranded up in the spaceship.
Macaulay Culkin's brother. How dare he?
Yeah.
But not the one you're thinking of.
No, that's right. Rory?
Maybe.
Yeah. So he's up in the spaceship. There's still 4 years to go on this mission, and he's all alone and sad and like, bruh, my family's dead. Wow.
I'm Josh Hartnett. Wow,
That's
wow,
right,
wow.
exactly. So Aaron Paul's like, talks to his wife, and he's like, maybe he could go down and visit us in my android body. And she's like, great idea. But guess what? It was a bad idea.
That's right, because...
Well, he gets used to it, doesn't he? And he's a bit sexy.
And he's a bit sexy.
He's a bit sexy, that guy.
Yeah, and he's
got a sexy spirit.
And he's using Aaron Paul's sexy body.
That's right.
Which I did not like.
That's right. He's using all the power of his sexy body. I like this episode. I enjoyed that Aaron Paul has a... I mean, they're both good. Yeah. But I think Aaron Paul especially...
He's pulling double duty.
He's pulling double duty, probably for one times the pay. Yeah. Because he has to be both of them, and he has to be like a... the difference between the two families is Josh Hartnett's family seems to be full of love and life and joy, whereas Aaron Paul's family, which is... Who's that lady? She's from Fantastic Four.
God, let me look that up. Fantastic Forecast.
But not the one you're thinking of.
What's her name? Not Rooney Mara. Kate Mara.
Kate Mara. She that family seems to have sort of cold and no love, and he's moved away from society, so people don't bother him. It seems.
Yes.
And she is alone in the and he doesn't seem like that good of a he's not a good guy. It seems
she's related to Rooney Mara. They're sisters. Sorry, go on.
Okay, there you go.
Anyway, go on.
And so Josh Hartnett's character brings a lot more love and tenderness to the relationship. But that's going to be trouble.
Turns out, though,
he's also a murderer.
He's a big psycho.
He's a big psycho. They're all psychos.
Do you reckon he was already a psycho, or he got psychoed?
I think he got psychoed because his family was murdered.
Yeah,
by one of the Culkins, no less.
Yeah.
Gross. Damn, you'd be like, damn.
It did feel like that kind of the Manson kind of murder.
Oh, yeah, absolutely,
Very much that kind of vibe of like, cultish aspect to it.
And so, I think overall, I think like the Twilight Zone, if you question too hard where the stuff comes from, you're not you're not going to enjoy it. But I think the issue is the drama.
What do you think added to it sitting it in the 60s? Is it like the aesthetic of it? Like, I mean, I love this kind of aesthetic, this future retro kind of.
I think I think setting it in the 60s is not. It's not. I mean, I guess it's partly for the look of it, but it's also like, well, if it's set in the present day, they could probably like have video calls to one another, and they would,
But now they can just build robots.
And they can just. Well, no. You also have to guess that there's like you have to factor in there's like a Reed Richards kind of genius who's built the robot bodies or what have you.
Yeah. I'm not complaining because I think it's like it's interesting to kind of. I like it. It's like that Apple show about space, but it's different.
That's true.
It's called Different Space.
Anyway, enjoyable. How much was society like a phone?
Not a lot of phones in this. I mean, they're using a home phone. They're using a landline.
They're using a landline,
but is it speaking to a broader idea that somebody is a phone? Because he was sort of phoning down to his own body.
That's true. And Aaron Paul initially was phoning it in.
Yeah.
But then afterwards he's like, maybe I won't phone it in anymore. And Josh Hartnett's like, well, too bad I killed your family.
Take a seat. I killed your family.
That's right.
You may be wondering why I killed your family. So please take a seat.
And I mean, that I feel also that is classic Black Mirror because he's kind of checkmated him.
Yeah.
Because if they don't work together on this spaceship, wherever it's going, or whether it's in orbit or whatever, they're going to die.
Yeah.
So there's nothing.
And on top of that, like, is it a humanity-saving mission? Like, what is it?
Yeah, we don't know.
Exactly. I think they're probably one of them's going to beat the other to death.
I think they're going to get back down to Earth and they're going to scuffle Buzz Aldrin style. As soon as the 6 years is over, they're going to
just tumble out of the ship.
Yeah, that's right. I'll get you, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
I'll get you. But, a classic Black Mirror, checkmate situation at the end, and it's not about the technology. The technology was there, but it's like,
about the people.
Man's ruined it,
Yeah.
Man, in this case, society was man.
Typical.
And that's a bit of a turn up for the books, isn't it?
Bloody typical. Next up, we have Maisie Day.
That's right.
Where we've got a kind of, almost like the TV show The Idol. I don't know if you've seen any of it.
I haven't seen it.
It's really on television.
That's terrific.
If you want to watch it, which you shouldn't because it's bad.
I saw a clip from it, and it was The Weeknd, the guy, and somebody had commented, his facial hair looks like when a girl puts on like a fake beard for a sketch, like draws it on.
The wig
just draws it on. Yeah, good stuff. So you can't take him seriously after that.
No.
So we got Zazie Beetz as a paparazzo, but she's not as into it as the other people. She's got a moral center.
That's right.
She doesn't like doing it, so it's hard for her to pay the bills.
Yep.
But then a starlet, Maisie Day.
She has a crisis of consciousness.
That's right. Also, it's in 2006, I think.
Yeah, around then.
And she's sort of they clearly went, let's get an Amelia Clarke type.
Yeah, okay,
it's Amelia Clarke in a 2006 Game of Thrones situation. And she's a starlet, and she gets involved in a seeming hit and run, and then she disappears, and all the paparazzi are like, "Where's she gone?
What happened?
Where's she at? What's going on there?" And Zazie gets a little. She does some detective work, and she figures out that she's actually gone to a
weird kind of retreat for
a holistic kind of
for like addiction
sanitarium kind of situation. She's like, well, hey paparazzi, let's all get in there and let's get in here. Let's get the big photos. Let's make the big bucks and get the big photos.
Yeah.
And they show up, and it turns out she's been chained in there.
Yeah, and they're like, "What kind of situation is this?"
Let's get. And Zazie's like, "Let's get her out of this situation."
Yep.
Turns out you shouldn't because she's a werewolf.
Yeah, and we didn't know that.
This
is the moment where I went, I didn't know that.
Right.
I didn't know she was a werewolf.
Yeah, me too.
I didn't even suspect it.
I think when they saw she was chained up, I think I went, "Oh, she is a werewolf."
I thought that was when there was like something is up here that, and just the cult aspect of it all. It didn't.
Yeah.
It very clearly wasn't.
Yeah. And I think that was a fun setup. I think.
Yeah.
Because initially, when you see she speaks, you see her speaking to a guru who's clearly not any kind of doctor.
Yeah.
And he's like, we're gonna.
And you think it's like some kind of Scientology.
You think it's a Scientology thing. You clearly think
addiction isn't real. And
exactly.
Whatever,
like there's the moment where he's like, well, we've got to get through this day, and we're going to get through the next day, and then we'll see how we go. And I'm like, this guy's going to be creepy. He's going to give her a weird kiss or something like that.
Yeah.
Like he's going to.
Maybe he was still going to.
Maybe he's probably still going to. But then I'm like, oh, this is going to be weird. And then I'm like, oh no, he was being sincere.
Yeah.
Because he's like, you got to get through these 2 days because it's the full moon, and you're going to turn into a werewolf.
You're either going to be a Dracula or a werewolf.
I'll be a Dracula, yeah.
See what happens. Yeah.
So it turns out when she was involved in this hit and run, she went out to see how this person was, and actually she got bit by a werewolf.
Yeah,
and
the
therefore
person she
turned-
was a werewolf.
Yeah.
Wow, and it was crazy. This one is society as a phone because I think it speaks to the broader idea.
Oh yes,
that people are always on their phones looking at paparazzo pictures.
that is so true.
And Perez Hilton's like, your daughter's a bitch, even though she's in primary school.
That was prime era for Perez Hilton being
Oh,
like, your daughter's a
worst.
bitch. That's right, and she's ugly.
Yeah.
Look how sexy I am, Perez Hilton.
So sexy.
And also, it's about unrealistic beauty expectations for women because women can't even be werewolves.
They can't even.
I mean, these days they can.
Yeah, these days,
In
thank God.
2006.
Yeah, which
you know.
I love, yeah. But yeah, it's very much like that. Everyone was following Britney Spears and, what's her name, Mean Girls around and whatever.
Yep.
Lindsay Lohan. You
There
know,
we
it
go.
was, so
Yeah,
I think this one, it was like the perfect era to set it in.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, no, I like that one.
And
I
he
like,
had a Nokia.
yeah. And I didn't know that she was a werewolf.
It's true, yeah.
Didn't know.
Yeah. Now, and for people out there who are complaining, what they should do, and they can do this on a streaming service, I think they should add like a Poochie died on his home planet style title card at the end that says, this happened because we live in a simulation. I think people will be like, whoa, that's actually really deep now that I think about it.
Makes you think about everything.
It does, doesn't it?
Anyway, the final episode, which I thought was the second to last episode,
But it was actually the last episode.
was Demon.
Demon
Another
79,
one,
yeah.
which is just straight supernatural.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's interesting.
It's a fun one.
Yeah.
I mean, it's grim.
Yeah.
And the ending is very grim, but it was a fun one.
Well, I think it's a fun one, and also it's the first one set under a banner called Red Mirror,
Red Mirror?
which I think maybe is like a backdoor pilot for maybe a spin-off.
Okay.
Maybe they're segueing out. They're going because Charlie Brooker has talked about this how he stopped doing these for a while because he's like society got too weird for me to say society's
got
a
too
phone
much
every
like a
time.
phone.
Got too much like a phone. So I think these two episodes especially are sort of branching out a bit, and I think next year or in 2 years' time there might be just a season of Red Mirror, which is just
Spooky stuff.
and we don't have to tie it to phones, and we don't have to tie it to, we don't have to go, the reason she turned into a werewolf is because she got a genetic therapy and she turned in, and they used wolf DNA or whatever. We can just go, nah, she's a werewolf.
Yeah.
And it's the same with this. We don't have to go, this is in a computer simulation or it's in a whatever. We can
it
just
could
go.
be.
Yeah, it could be. Probably is. That's the beauty of it.
There's some stuff in this that hinted to other episodes, and I can't remember which one. Was it the Bandersnatch? Was there some Bandersnatch stuff in this? I'm sure there was.
Oh
something
yeah,
in
there
this.
would be. Yeah,
I can't remember.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
it doesn't matter. Let's keep.
But yeah, so the idea behind this one is it's late 70s. This woman's this sale assistant. Everybody hates her because she's not white.
Yes.
And she discovers a demon.
Yeah.
It's like, you have to kill a bunch of people, otherwise I'm going to end the world.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, better do it.
All right.
Did we talk about Kill or Be Killed, the Ed Brubaker, Sean Phillips
one's
comic
that?
book? It's about that guy and he nearly dies.
Oh,
And-
we've talked about it, but I haven't read it.
Oh yeah, he nearly dies, but then a demon's like, "I saved your life, so you're going to kill people for me.
And it
Otherwise,
may or
you're
may
going to
not
get
be
sick."
real.
Yeah, may not be. You might just be crazy.
Yeah.
But so this was a fun one and
I
funny.
agree.
I thought
Yeah.
this was the funniest episode.
Yeah, even though it ends in the apocalypse.
Sure does. But hey, that's the beauty of these things is you can just end it however you want.
It's got some good comeuppance in it as well, and some people who maybe don't deserve it. That's happening because so she has to do 3 murders, but before the end of whatever.
Yeah.
Or the demon who's terrific. By the way.
Yes.
What a fun performance.
He's loving life,
Yeah.
which I'm loving, and I'm loving him.
But he's also got a deadline because if she doesn't do these murders, then he's got to get cast into an infinite void.
It's a real devil went down to Georgia situation. He's way
Exactly.
behind, and he's got to make a deal.
Yep. So he does. And so yeah, I don't know what to say about this one other than I like the aesthetic of it. I like that it was like this schlocky B horror movie kind of, even like a lot of the musical cues in this and like the titling at the start.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like this kind of like terror in the whatever kind of
Yeah.
vibe. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a good one to end on, even though I'm sure it'll make people mad because
I don't-
society is not a phone
I don't
in
think
this.
society was a phone in this
Society's
one.
a phone at all.
She just got hit in the head and saw a demon.
Yeah.
Probably. There was probably a demon.
Or she just got hit in the head and went, I'll do some murders.
Yeah. I think it's justified either way.
Yeah. Also, back then, a phone wouldn't tell you to do a murder.
No, here we go.
probably.
Ring, operator. Hello. The Beatles are coming to town, you say.
That's right.
Get me 1 ticket. I have no friends.
That's right.
That's me.
Nice. That's great. That is very good.
Yeah, so there you go.
Best series ever, I think.
My one note for that one is fun.
That was fun. It's undeniably fun.
Yeah. It's interesting that you can take like a something that's very dark and gruesome.
Yes.
And has a horrendous ending that ends in like a nuclear apocalypse. And you're like, that's fun.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to say best series ever. Like, just briefly, maybe before we get into what we've read.
Yeah.
How does this compare to previous seasons?
I think it's definitely stronger than the last season.
Okay, so the last season was there's a virtual reality video game you go into, but maybe you kiss your mates and it makes everything weird.
I did like how sexy that was.
That was very sexy, and it had, good actors in that one. Smithereens, which is the one, it's the hostage situation in the Uber.
It's got the sexy priest in it.
Yes, it does. Yeah,
I thought that was okay. It kind of felt more like an episode of The Bill, which is probably what they were going for.
Yeah, Sexy the Bill. Sexy Murder the Bill. It
wasn't very sexy.
And then episode 3 of the last season was...
Miley Cyrus is in a robot.
Miley Cyrus is in a robot. I don't think I loved the episode itself, but I thought Miley Cyrus was good in it.
Yeah.
Is that a real name?
Miley Cyrus.
Yeah, that's not a character's name, right?
No.
Okay.
Her name was Billy Ray Cyrus.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, I thought she was great in that, but I recall not. And let's just go back to season 4 just to see what it was like. Season 4, episode 1 was USS Callister, which is the one where Jesse Plemons traps a bunch of people in a virtual spaceship.
Oh, I really liked that one.
And that one had Aaron Paul in it briefly.
It did, as a voice cameo.
As a voice cameo, and I guess he's got his wish, and he's in a real Black Mirror right now. Good episode, bit of fun. This was the episode, I think, was this the season where everybody's brain's been put into a virtual thing? This season was almost exclusively like that, I think.
What was the other episode?
Okay, episode 2 is Archangel, which is the one where a woman puts a chip in her daughter's brain because she's afraid.
Jodie Foster one, yeah.
Yeah. Episode 3 is the one where you can track people's memories of what happened in it.
It's the one where it
was the crime scene episode.
You can see, it was called like Crocodile,
yes,
or Alligator or whatever.
Yeah, that was Crocodile. So that was the most British.
That was the
episode
spooky British one.
That was the spooky British one.
Yeah.
Episode 4 was Hang the DJ, which is the nice one.
Which one's that one? Hang the DJ.
Hang the DJ was the one where everybody has. It's a dating program, and you can only
date
people for a small amount of time, etc.
Yeah.
But then it turned out it was all inside. It's all inside a phone,
yeah.
And then it's the person who's meeting the person for the first time. What a delight! Episode 5 is the one that I like, but nobody else in the world likes, which is Metalhead, which is the black and white episode.
I loved that
where
episode.
A woman's being, everybody hates it.
What?
I don't know why. But it's the one where a woman is being pursued by
the Terminator in the future.
A dog drone.
Yeah.
I really like that episode, and the reveal at the end is that the woman is not on some secret mission to save the world or whatever. She's just getting a teddy bear for her daughter, I think. And the kid really wanted it, so she made the sacrifice, and then she got a tracking device shot into her neck.
Yeah.
I really liked that episode because it was so ambiguous.
Yeah.
There is apparently a deleted scene. I don't know if they filmed it or if it's just in the script.
Operating
where they reveal that there's a guy just operating the drone and he's just living his life.
And he's just bathing his kids.
Yeah, he's just doing it from home and he's just whatever and he doesn't care. And I thought that's interesting.
Yeah.
Because it's sort of,
it's drone warfare and whatever.
It's drone warfare and like it separates these people who are killing people.
You can bomb a wedding and
exactly
wherever and be like, eh.
Yeah, but I like the episode because it was just like you don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Is it just this state in America? Is it the whole world?
Yeah.
Is it people controlling these drones? Is it AI?
Is it England?
Maybe it's in England? Probably not, but And then episode 6 was Black Museum, which is the one
was all right.
that tried to combine everything into the same universe. I didn't love it.
And then that's a pretty strong season, though.
That was a strong season.
I think, definitely the gap helped with this one.
Yeah.
Because it seemed like there was just like back to back to back to back. And then there was like 3 or 4 years and then...
Yeah. But anyway, I mean, we could go back to previous seasons, but there's just simply no time. But, like, it's like a sketch show. If you don't like one...
Watch a sketch show.
Watch the sketch show with Kelsey Grammer.
Watch Auntie Donna's.
Watch Auntie Donna's Coffee Cafe.
Coffee Cafe.
But if you don't like an episode, it's not the end of the world, is it?
No.
There's more episodes to come.
Exactly. Yeah. Cool.
They can't all be winners. No. But I think they're always
I think they were pretty good this
I think it's always
around,
eminently watchable and worth the premises and
agreed,
etc.
Cool. All right, should we move it along?
Yes.
What are we going to do?
It's another segment. It's another segment. It's called What We Read and What We're Going to Read.
I actually have a note for that.
Oh?
It just says fun.
That's great.
Yeah. I'm doing the thing. What are we reading today? What are you doing?
Hello.
Secret Invasion?
Well, that, but also the physical release for John Wick 4 is out
in
Australia. It's been out for a while, I think, in other countries, but it's just out now. So I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it later, and I'm going to watch it.
Do you have the other John Wick physical releases?
I don't. Maybe I'll get them.
Maybe I hope he physical releases your head from your body. What do you think of that?
You think you hope John Wick, fictional character John Wick, will separate my head from my body?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah, but you still have to do the podcast.
I hope that too, actually. I think that would be great. What a way to go, Hope he does it with like a like a book.
Or a biro.
He books my head off. Just completely severs me from the neck up. Just
If you put the book in, like under your chin, and then he opens the book quick enough.
Yeah, I think it'll whip
your
my
head
head
will
off.
pop off.
I think that'd be great, actually.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Anyways, but you're
And my head bounces like in the road in front of the Arc de Triomphe, and I get
then down a really long flight of
Yes,
stairs.
that'd be wonderful.
So, Secret Invasion, though, the first episode is out, and
Yes.
people are like, it was okay, I think.
I also thought it was okay, I think.
Yeah, I still haven't watched the second episode, but I guess one of the biggest things that
Well,
people...
none of us have because it's not out for not.
Yeah, I know,
If you're
but I
not
have a
if you're not
copy
a
of it.
liberal elite.
Yeah, I am,
Yeah.
but I haven't watched it yet because I
Okay.
want to be like a common grub like you.
Yeah.
But
look, here's a few notes on this off the top of my head. I think.
do you think Fury was affected by the snap?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Do you think people should stop asking him that?
I think they should stop because I think he's clearly been emotionally affected. I think he should have a T-shirt that says, "Yes, I was emotionally affected by the snap."
Yeah.
But also, get over it. Everybody's emotionally affected by the snap.
Get over it.
Fury, you're a professional. Get over it, idiot.
He is a professional.
What I was going to say was, I think if they had 2 episodes available, they probably should have released the 2 episodes simultaneously because I felt plot-wise this was a little thin.
Yeah, fair enough.
know?
Yeah, I don't disagree
They
with that.
established that they were like, okay, well, there's the Skrulls are still here, but they're sick of waiting for Fury to find him and find us a new home. So some of them have gone rogue. They're refugees and they're going to kill you.
Yep, absolutely.
Which is the same plot as Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yep.
And I think maybe sends a bad message.
What?
Not to get political about this show that is political,
What's the bad message?
that the refugees are going to kill you.
Yeah, but if you, I mean, what about your own home?
That's a
Maybe
great
look
point,
after
actually.
Maybe look after the people in your own country
Oh, that's a great
first.
point. Yeah, which they all do.
Which
They all
people
do. Governments
famously look after.
The governments famously do that, don't they? They love doing that. We can't stop them. We're like, could you please stop supporting?
Everybody's too housed.
They're too housed. Could you please stop helping
Mental
the less
health is
fortunate?
already in check.
The problem is you've helped the less fortunate so much that they're really so fortunate now. They're all millionaires.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then, look, I like that Ben Mendelsohn got an action sequence. I thought that was fun, or his stunt double did at least.
Sure, yeah.
I thought that was a bit of fun, but otherwise it was just sort of grey wandering. Did you notice that? It was just
It was
a
grey wandering.
lot of grey wandering in it.
Okay, we're going to do a little bit of a spoiler at the start.
Okay.
The character, who's probably not the actual character, is revealed to be a Skrull. Were you like, what? Or were you like, okay.
Didn't he end up in jail? Oh no, the Wakandans rescued him in Wakanda Forever.
That wasn't him, I'm pretty sure. That was a guy pretending to be Martin Freeman.
Yes.
But even that, I think there's going to be a lot of like, it was this guy. And it's like, how many times can you be like, it was this guy?
Well, the problem, I mean, so as I understand it, the people behind this were told not to read the Secret Invasion comic books.
Perfect.
Because largely, I imagine, they featured a lot of superheroes which were revealed to be Skrulls, and in this there are no superheroes.
Yeah.
So, and I saw a quote from someone who's like, "Oh my god, there's going to be a character who's going to be revealed to be a Skrull, and it is going to destroy your mind utterly. Your head's going to pop off your shoulders like John Wick gave you a big booking." Who's it going to be? It's got to be Rhodey, right? There's nobody else it can
I
be.
assume so.
It can't be.
It could be Kobe Smulders.
It could be Kobe Smulders.
Although she already has been a Skrull.
We're already
Or
doing. Are we
version
doing
of her.
spoilers in this? I think we're.
Yeah, sure.
Let's hit spoilers.
Yeah.
She gets shot. Is she back in the next one? Maybe.
I don't remember.
Is she a life model decoy or
Honestly,
something?
I don't even remember that happening.
She gets shot at the end.
I don't remember.
Okay, the main bad guy
I saw
shot.
it like 2 weeks ago.
Okay, well the main guy shoots her.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, whatever. Okay. Whatever.
But it's in the stomach, so she could very easily survive that.
Yeah.
Because you can in these sort of things.
But also, if you can, because they're copying people's minds as well and memories. So you could just live like, you could continue to exist.
She could turn into a Skrull later.
Yeah.
She could be like,
But you know what I mean? Like somebody could die in this and then be like, well, I've got all Nick Fury's memories, so I'm basically Nick Fury.
That's true, yeah.
Anyway, the AI thing.
Oh, yeah. So this episode was fine. But again, I think they should have, if they had the 2 episodes, they should have released them because then.
I have the 2 episodes.
Yeah, well, you should release them. You should release it now.
All right, I
you
will.
should destroy your life so people can see this episode like 3 or 4 days
Of this
before.
show that people think is okay.
Yeah. You should do
All right,
that.
I'll do it. I don't care.
Okay, great.
Anyway, the opening sequences, and when I saw this, I'm like, I wonder if that's AI. It looks AI, but they probably wouldn't do that.
Turns out they did.
They did.
And they've justified it by being like, well, actually...
Get over it.
Yeah, they said get over it. But they've said, well, this show is all about being deceptive, and so we decided to try some deceptive practices.
Yeah.
And that makes sense artistically, and I don't think it does, actually.
Apparently, the production process was highly collaborative and with a dedicated focus on the specific application of the AI toolset, and involved a tremendous effort by talented art directors, animators, both proficient in 2D and 3D artists, developers who employed conventional techniques to craft all the other aspects of the project.
Here's my question, I guess. if you look at, say, the title sequence artists from like Ms. Marvel, which I think was the last series, right?
Sure.
There's way more.
Yeah.
There's like 80 people involved or 50 or something, and there's like 8 people involved in this one.
Yeah.
So I guess the question is, how did they do it? I guess there would be ways to do it ethically, and the one way to do it would be you get a bunch of people in to draw original art, you scan it in, and then you have the AI go do some spooky title sequence with Nick Fury, and then the AI
it's
draws.
closed off to that art in particular.
It's a closed system. It's like a box.
Or the art that you use that you've borrowed from,
you own it.
You pay everybody for that. Or
Yes,
you own
that's-
it, yeah. Exactly,
yeah, like if they went, hey, let's.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with
Yeah.
doing it, but like it has to be built off the back of people's actual work.
Well, exactly. If they fed in every.
I mean, I say from an iPhone, you know.
Well, yeah, that's exactly. You're not wrong, brother. From the bloody Roadcaster,
Yeah.
Everybody's walking around with their Roadcasters saying stuff, but did they pay for this Roadcaster? We didn't. They sent it to us. But they haven't sent us the new one.
Nope.
Anyway, I guess even if they got every Marvel title sequence and they put that in the thing, and then they generated this, I guess, but also it doesn't look like they did. And also, would they then have to pay the people who made the original?
No. I mean, they should, but
they
they're not
going
wouldn't.
to. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Look,
I think also like you do this 2 years ago and people would have been like, this is quite innovative and what a way to approach it. But it just seems like the worst time to do something.
It's the
like
worst
this.
time because now everybody is talking about the ethics of this and saying you probably should pay people who did work for you. And
so I know it's kind of the point, but I fucking hate looking at it.
it's weird. Yeah. It doesn't look like anything. I think they would salvage a lot of goodwill if in the next couple of weeks they made a proper.
Yeah.
And maybe they make it like the A-Team.
Oh yeah,
and it's like dun dun dun, and then Nick Fury's there, and he's like, and he shoots a gun, and then he looks at the audience, and does a big wink, and it's Kobe Smulders.
A wink with his one eye.
And Kobe Smulders has been shot, and then she just looks, and Kobe Smulders, and she's all the blood's draining out of her body, and she looks at the camera, she's like, yeah, and it's Ben Mendelsohn. He's like, you haven't been talking to the cops, have you? The audience, wink. Give me that. I would love that.
I mean, if it was WandaVision, then you might get that.
They might get that, but I think they would salvage a lot of goodwill if they went, we actually made a mistake here. We understand. Well, look, they could go, we made it under strict controlled conditions and we made all the art that we borrowed from to make the thing, but we understand there's some concerns about this, so we've done a title sequence where everybody winks.
Yep. And it's great.
It
worked out really well.
Yeah. Anyway, this show will be fine probably.
Yeah. Can't wait
for the next episode.
I mean, I have it. They probably closed off the screening window.
Yeah, probably.
I won't know because I won't watch it till it comes on television.
That is so true.
You sure Kobe Smulders got shot? You sure you weren't watching How I Met Your Mother?
It's true, yeah.
Isn't that how I Met Your Mother
Robin's
is?
been shot. Aunt Rob. That's how we met your Aunt Robin.
I shot her.
Yeah, that's right. You think I'm the boring straight man, but I shot her and I'll kill again.
What are we going to do next,
We're going to do letters.
Yeah.
Letters. The classic one was
Letters, oh letters, we love you. Some letters, they're only a day away.
You know they're here right now. We're going to do letters.
I just want to quickly talk about this. This isn't a letter, but if you do want to reach the show, #WeeklyPlanetPod on Twitter or weeklyplanetpod@gmail.com. I know they're just barreling ahead with Superman, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like it's going to happen because they're rebooting the universe. But all of these, if you look at the long, and I meant to bring this up earlier when we were talking about The Flash, but if you look at the long list of DC properties that have been released, if you look at the past, like it's 8 or 10 or whatever, and that's outside of Joker and the Batman, which are not in the DCEU.
Oh, yes.
They've all bombed. And not just like, it's just been a series of bombs. No wonder they're $4.49 billion in debt if they're making decisions like this.
Yes.
And do you think maybe Warner Brothers should just think for a minute, maybe stop for 5 years instead of just being like, we're going again? Because I don't think Superman is going to probably make $1 billion, or maybe even if it's great, there's a chance that if this is the trend, there's a chance that it's just not going to be profitable because they have to slowly build up goodwill, and maybe a way to do that is go away for a bit.
I mean, here's the thing. That may be the smart move.
Yeah.
But a company that's $49.5 billion in debt is probably not known for making the smart move.
Yeah, okay.
And he's not.
Sure.
And it's probably everybody's panicking, I would guess. And if they've got an algorithm in charge at this point, which they probably do.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, what are shareholders? What are they doing? What are they even doing?
That's what because everything is like the next thing. Like that's how you keep the stock price up and your shareholders happy. where you're constantly announcing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And if your announcement was, we're taking 5 years off.
Then James Gunn gets fired immediately.
Well, that and like it would tank the stock prices.
Yeah, that's right.
So they can't do that.
They're
Even though
doomed.
in the long term, it's probably the better thing to do.
Yeah. But
you got to give people a chance to like miss things.
Yeah.
Like when Star Wars goes away, it always comes back huge. But now Star Wars is never going to go away.
That's true.
Unless we make it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if James Gunn wants to turn this around and he wants to do that, like maybe he's had that thought of like, maybe we'll just release The Batman 2 and we'll release Superman Legacy and people will go, oh, they're the two core characters and we love them and we'll go see those. Like that is an uphill battle for him.
Yeah.
Where he'd have to go to people, he'd have to go to the people with all the money and say, listen, we're putting the brakes on this. But I'm sure there are people in there who are like, no, you put in money to make this, and then you get a return.
So this much money, and then you give us money.
That's right, exactly. Yeah, and I think he's going to be fighting against the tide for that, if indeed he's doing that.
Yeah,
but maybe he's just there to be like, I'm going to make X number of movies, and these characters, and that's all. They've paid me for that. I'm going to do that, and then I got to leave. I'm going to try my best, and then I got to leave.
But there could be like their first like 4 movies, and I'm not talking like Blue Beetle, Aquaman, which technically like the old guard, even though it's in the DCEU. They just might not do well. Yeah, I think the Batman 2 is probably going to do well, and Joker 2 is probably going to do well.
Yeah.
But I mean, depending if they're good and whatever. But,
I mean, this might be the sell-off to Marvel era where these all do badly, and then Warner Brothers is like, well, put it on the chopping block. Yep, it's going to go with all the.
Yeah, then they turn around and they go, what else do we have to sell? I don't know, the office chairs, I guess.
We got the filing cabinets. Yeah.
Anyway, letters.
Do I have another thought about that? Probably not.
Yeah, we'll talk about it another week.
Yeah. This is from Matthew. Writers' strike layoff. Speaking of.
Whoa.
Matthew says, hey there, James and Mace. I hope you guys are good. I'm a long-time listener to the pod. Love you guys. Over the last year and a bit, I've been a junior compositor for an Irish VFX house. Over the last month, work has slowed down. We're supposed to be working on a very big BBC show.
Tell us the show.
He said what it is, but I'm not going to say what it is.
Tell me and Collins will edit it out.
Okay.
Oh, my God. The Bill revival.
That's exactly right. And the one where the guy from the Bill goes bad, the name of which I've forgotten.
Reg went wrong.
We're supposed to be working on a big BBC show, and layoffs have begun. Me and as far as I know, half of our office have been let go as a result of no work due to the writers' strike. Damn. Even after this, I'm still in full support of the writers and hope these higher-ups cop on.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? Because a lot of time they're like, well, this people within the industry want this. People are sacrificing their livelihoods and pay to, for the betterment of the industry.
As someone who's gone on strike before, solidarity, loving it. It's good.
Well, that's someone who would never go on strike because I support podcasting no matter what.
Yeah. Because you're a grub and a scab.
I'm a scab. I'll come in and do your podcast if you strike. Wow. Yeah, that's right.
Matthew says, thanks for making my trips to work not suck. Matthew, also can I be the official Paddy Comper of the podcast?
Absolutely you can. And good luck on the Bill revival.
And I have some Irish heritage, so I'm allowed to say that.
Are you?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I have some Irish heritage, and I think you shouldn't be able to say it.
Well, let's fight about it.
But I should.
Let's get drunk and fight about it.
This is from Rodri R, who says, #WeeklyPlanetPod. With the release of the new Black Mirror, have you ever get it right? Come on, Rodri. Jeez. Stumbling all over these words here. Yeah.
Start again. Delete the draft. Start again, mate.
Have either of you watched any of Charlie Brooker's Wipe series?
Yes.
I miss it because it used to be, it was weekly for a time.
Yeah, News Wipe and
then he did it yearly. Wipes. The last one he did was did a coronavirus special.
That's right. I love his very untimely references to Gangnam Style. He's always dropping Gangnam Style in there. Yeah, I love Charlie Brooker. I used to. We talked about Bandersnatch recently.
Yes.
I love Bandersnatch. I think partly because I love, and you think I'm going to say, Choose Your Own Adventures, but it's old British computer games. And he used to write for British computer magazines and stuff like that. So I'm sure I would have read some of his reviews back in the day. But yeah, that being said, I have a note in on my phone, I think, and it's like, remember to watch Death to 2020.
Oh, yeah.
And I just never got around to it. Or Death to 2021, whichever one it was. I just never got around to it. Now I'm way behind on those. Yeah. And it feels like too late to watch those.
I think it's still fun. Yeah. You can still watch it. I liked that one, I think.
But yeah, Charlie Brooker's good.
Did I like
generally.
That one?
And he,
Oh, that was more of a, that was a documentary, fake documentary, wasn't it? That wasn't it. You did say that.
Yeah.
But it wasn't
I also haven't watched Kunk on Earth.
Yeah, I watched most of it.
Uh-huh.
It's fun. It's great. Yeah. Really good. Really funny. Yeah, he does a lot of things. What else you got?
Great question. This is from John.
John?
Hey, guys, last week you talked about not wanting to get a tattoo in case the meaning around it changed. That happened to me. I got mine in 2015 for being a Canadian and a Toronto Maple Leafs fan. And since 2022, when the Blue Lives Matter movement started, I have on multiple occasions had to explain that it's not about that.
Can I see that?
Keep up the good work.
Can I see it?
Yes.
Mason, it's just a KKK hood. Come on, man.
So it's a back tattoo.
Why did he think that was okay?
Yeah. No. So it's a back tattoo, and it's a maple leaf.
Yeah.
The left side is red, and the right side is blue. And so it says born red, bleed blue.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, oh, yeah, okay, right.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah. Probably.
Well, just explain it to everybody all the time.
Yeah, it's like I love the Smurfs, you could say.
Do you love the Smurfs?
And I bleed blue.
Yeah.
Because I love the Smurfs.
Yeah, I love the Smurfs.
Yeah, that's
I love
right.
the movie Smurfs and the Smurfs Revival movie or series. This is from Al. Send us in your dated tattoos. We would love to see
We would
them.
love to see dated
really.
tattoos, yeah.
Not rude, though.
No.
Not if it's on a rude place. Hashtag Weekly Planet Pod.
Not your Ben Ass Flex, for example.
No, exactly.
That's wrong.
Ben Ass Flex?
Nice. That's better.
I got one.
Yep.
It's from Al. Have either of you ever gone into a movie totally blind? My cinema does a secret movie, and I turned up to a packed house hoping to see Asteroid City. It was elemental. But it was worth it just to hear 50 people sigh, and then half of them leave instantly.
That's great.
No.
I don't think we have those here.
If we do, there's not one near me.
Yeah, I would love to.
Yeah.
I say that, but probably not.
It would have. I'd also like. Do I want that? I don't know. I like knowing. I like going into a movie blind in terms of like, you don't want to know anything about this and go and watch this movie.
Yeah.
But just to go into something not knowing completely.
Yeah. That is. I would love to. Yeah.
But it would also have to be. I don't know, because would there be parameters around it? Would it be new movies? Is it like you could get literally anything?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. I think that's one of the great joys of movies generally.
Yeah.
When somebody goes, you got to watch this. Don't look into it. Don't Google it. Don't watch the trailer. Don't look up the Wikipedia page or whatever.
You're gonna love The Matrix 4.
Exactly. Just go to it. And even if the movie itself is not great, sometimes it's just like, oh, it's great to have just that freeing experience of not analyzing the trailer and the poster and sort of reading the interviews and knowing what it's all about and just going in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. That's cool.
There's a movie called Beau is Afraid. It's an Ari Aster movie. It's got
the Joker in it.
It's got the Joker in it. People have recommended that to me, and I've done my best not to. It's
on streaming.
It is on streaming right now, but it's $20. I might wait.
$20.
$20.
That's $20.
I know.
You know what's weird? I'm just looking at the YouTube comments. I got them open, and our Titanic video is suddenly getting a lot of views and
how intriguing.
Comments.
How intriguing.
People are being like, "Hey, that guy who died is in your video." Why are people saying that?
I don't know, Jack. For real, is he?
Yeah, he is.
Is there?
One of the guys.
Are there any comments saying like, I can't believe you didn't mention that Titan sub that went down there exploded when you made this video like a year ago or whatever? Can't believe you didn't know to put that in there, you idiots.
There are some people who are saying like this didn't age well, but we didn't say you should go down to the bottom of the Titanic.
Yeah.
We've looked into this and this is good and safe. And,
we didn't say
and normal. It's a normal thing to do.
We didn't say no one will ever get in a weird carbon fiber can and controlled by a Logitech game controller. Just a couple of billionaires would get in there and then float down there and it would explode. That would never happen.
Yeah, that's in the extended version.
Yeah, that's
we said it.
That's right.
Good God.
That's right.
Anyway, big week for guys dying at the bottom of the ocean. Anything else, Mason?
A couple more. Here's an email from Nick Norris. He says, "What even happened in Phase 4?" Speaking of Secret Invasion.
It's great. Okay, I don't know.
Hey guys, I just wanted to ask a question that popped in my head. What even happened in Phase 4? This is of the MCU.
Yeah, I know.
I watched all the movies and shows, but I can't really name anything of significance that happened. I guess Kang sort of arrived maybe, and we got She-Hulk and Kamala Khan. But we're several years removed from Endgame, and it feels like we're still just mourning Iron Man and the blip. Personally, I've moved on from Iron Man.
Yeah, have you?
It's fine. Yeah, he's fine. The multiverses open up kind of, I guess, but not really. I don't know. I just feels like the story of this phase has been moving so slowly, which is weird considering we've had like 1,000 movies and TV shows. Agree or disagree?
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty accurate criticism. I also don't think that I think there is still a number of things within that phase which I like.
Yeah, a friend of the show, Nando V Movies, has done a video on what happened in Phase 4. People should check that out. And I watched that and I went, oh yeah, a bunch of good stuff in that.
Yeah.
Like once it's laid out in front of you, you go, oh, okay, it's
Yeah, Loki, WandaVision,
All that sort
I
of
like
stuff,
Doctor
yeah.
Strange. Shang-Chi was good. We both loved Ant-Man 3. We both loved Thor, Love and Thunder. We both loved The Flash.
That's true.
That was Phase 4.
That is true.
But no, that is fair in terms of like, what is this about?
Yeah.
Especially when we're conditioned for everything to be building towards something.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
it is like vaguely multiverse stuff.
Yeah. But a lot of comic book stuff in the comics isn't always
just
building up to a big stuff. It's just various adventures.
Just blokes
I
having
guess.
a fight.
Just blokes having a scuffle. One of the things that I think is an issue, I've been thinking about this week, especially since The Flash, is that there seems to be the strategy going forward with both DC and Marvel seems to be now just get it all out.
Yeah.
Just get every event, every big event and every huge storyline that happened, just knock it out real quick. And I think partly is that, like if you think about Thor: Love and Thunder, which I always do.
I always
think about
do
all the time.
too, yeah.
That had 2 massive storylines in it, each of which could have been like a trilogy in itself.
Yes.
Like Gore the God Butcher and Lady Thor, which in the comic books ran for years and spanned all these series and mini-series and were incredible, but they just went, knock them out, just knock out both of them in 2 hours kind of thing. And I think partly it's because it's an actor thing. Like you can't get, Chris Hemsworth isn't going to be available forever.
No, you'd have to do them like at once.
You'd have to do it all at once. Yeah, and, he's not going to be available forever. He doesn't want to do this character forever. He's not going to be able to get into Thor shape forever.
Yeah.
And you can trick some of that out with effects, I guess. But
no, you're right. Yeah, he could wear his suit.
But I mean, they're not going to want to do this forever. So if you want these Thor adventures with the Thor you know and love, you got to do it now. And it's the same with Flash. With Keaton, you got to do it now because he's not going to want to do it. Maybe in 2 years' time, he's not going to want to do it.
Wait till he's dead and then do it then.
And he'll have no choice.
Yeah.
But my personal preference would be recast and then take the time. But it's too late now.
Or even like, would you do like an Ultimate Universe situation?
You do an Ultimate Universe situation.
And then they meet eventually.
That could work, sure. But I think the thing is like, well, Chris Hemsworth is Thor.
Yeah.
But, with Batman, there's been a bunch of different Batmans. And I think maybe the MCU should take a cue from that and go, well, maybe we do another Thor and then we take the time with those storylines.
I think there is a fair chance that within the multiverse saga, they decide that at the end of it, it's a universe reset.
Yeah, right.
And then there is an ultimate situation, which is pretty much what they're doing with the DCU.
Yeah, true.
And then they can recast.
Yeah.
Because you can't just keep, everyone's getting older, but you also need those characters. You're not.
Yep.
But you want to keep watching these.
That's true.
You can't keep using these characters if the actor doesn't want to do it or ages out
That's
or
true,
dies.
yeah.
So it's inevitability. That's just about how you do it, I guess.
Yeah. And I think, and it's also that case, I think, as well, where I also kind of think Kevin Feige just wants to do all the story before he leaves.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe is a mistake.
Yeah.
And I feel like maybe, again, James Gunn, I hope, is going to learn from this and not go, I've got to do every storyline. I don't think he's doing that. I don't think he's going like...
Maybe that's Superman Legacy slash Death of Superman.
Superman.
Slash Superman fights Batman
Oh, my God, yeah. Just knock them all out again.
Slash, I don't know, the one where he travels through time or
Flashpoint.
Flashpoint.
We could do Flashpoint.
I was just thinking that. What if they called it Batman Flashpointing?
Batman Flashpointing at stuff.
There he is.
Batman Flashpointing at dead actor cameos. There's one. Oh, he died. Oh, he died in real bad circumstances. Oh, that guy died penniless. This is great.
This is great.
He could say that. As a representative of Warner Brothers, I think this is great. Wow.
Can't wait for Batman Flashpointing.
At dead celebrity
cameos. Yeah. My goodness.
Anyway, that's the whole show, I reckon.
That is, I reckon.
Folks, thank you so much for listening. We very much appreciate it. Thank you for liking the show and subscribing and telling your friends about it and leaving a 5-star review on the podcatcher of choice.
Yeah, man. I got one here.
Oh, yeah?
Got a couple here. You can just do whatever, like you said. This is from LHH.
You can do whatever as long as it's 5 stars.
That's right. You can do This is from LHH0035. Good job, boys. You have earned these 5 stars. Don't go spending it all in one place. Well, we will. We'll get Red Rooster after this and we'll say we would like to pay with these 5 stars we got from this review.
And they'll be like, you're going to jail.
This one's from CJ Clack, who also 5 stars, who says, I've seen Snake Eyes 38 times. I watch every week to prepare for the Snake Eyes episode. I pray it's this week. It's the only reason I listen, shooting 5 stars right up your butthole. Now, because we're getting Indiana Jones next week also, and he's often having snake-based adventures.
That's true.
That is actually the perfect opportunity to talk Indiana Jones and then dovetail directly into Snake Eyes.
Perfect.
Yeah. So next week, Snake Eyes.
Snake Eyes.
Get your copies lined up.
That's right.
Before it's deleted from streaming services.
Oh, it's Paramount Plus too, so it'll be very soon. Yeah.
Get physical. with Paramount executives.
That's right. Beat them up. Threaten them. Threaten those people.
Yeah.
Folks, if you want to get into contact with us, you can go to weeklyplanetpod@gmail.com.
Gmail?
Facebook, Twitter, Bandcamp. If you want to go have some fun, very civil discussions about podcasts and pop culture, you can go to the Planet Broadcasting Great Mates Facebook group. You can go to the Weekly Planet Pod Discord and subreddit.
Mason, I went into the Great Mates group and it's actually just an echo chamber because I'm a massive prick and I want to be a massive prick to people.
That's cool.
Why won't you let me do that?
No, it's a shame. Yeah.
Whatever happened to free speech?
That's a really good point.
Yeah, anyway.
So those are all great points, which we're going to gloss over. If you want to follow some people on the socials, you should first follow our friend Rob Collings. He's at Raw Collings on Twitter. He's at The Weekly Planet on Twitter. He edits this podcast. He makes all sorts of videos and does stuff on the socials. He does it all. He's the bloody backbone of this podcast.
Yeah.
The bloody backbone of the podcast. Here's some extraneous bones. You can follow me on Twitter at Wikipedia Brian. I'm going to start again.
Wikipedia brain.
Wikipedia brain. Don't follow that guy.
I've got Wikipedia brain.
I really do. I bloody really do,
Let's
mate.
see if there's Wikipedia brain.
Here's the thing I learned. Did you learn it or did you just read it on Wikipedia and you're going to forget it? Anyway, I'm at Wikipedia Brown on Twitter and on Instagram. I'm Nick Maso. James is Mr. Sunday Movies everywhere.
It's not taken.
You should take it right now.
No.
Okay, great.
Someone will take it and then tweet us at us, but we will ignore it.
We'll absolutely ignore it and put them on mute. It's going to be great. I'm really excited for it. What's their one tweet going to be?
We don't know.
It's very exciting. Anyway.
I'm already muting the word.
That's terrific.
Getting ahead of it.
If you want to support the show, you can go to patreon.com/Mr. Sunday Movies, chuck in $1 or an amount you would not miss. Or if you're a big spender, if you don't have $49.5 billion in Warner Brothers debt, you can go to bigsandwich.co. You can sign up for $9 per month. We've got bonus podcasts. We've got movie commentaries. We've got early videos. We've got video game Let's Plays. We've got all sorts of stuff. We're loving it over there.
We are loving it. This week, we're looking at Indiana Jones video games, two in particular, and we're just doing a discussion in general. That is at bigsandwich.co right now.
Having a wonderful time over there.
And boy, do I break another record, Mason?
Yes.
Or do I lose my mind? Or both?
You can do both.
Find out.
I believe in you. You can do both.
Yeah.
Folks, if you want to buy a t-shirt, you go to tpublic.com, search for The Weekly Planet. Thank you to The Brute and The Basilisk and Rackham for all our musical themes.
We thank them all the time.
Next week, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
And then Snake Eyes and the Snake Eyes of Destiny.
That's right.
Where does he get his snake eyes? We'll find out. Yeah. All right, thanks, everyone.
Grab that gem, you guys. We'll see you next week.
Goodbye.